Good afternoon to all present here. I, Dr. Pratibha Maurya, would like to welcome you all in this session 9 of 5 days shortened program on financial literacy, organized by Department of Commerce, University of Delhi in collaboration with Institute of Lifelong Learning, University of Delhi and Association of Mutual Fund of India. Today we have for our session 9, Mr. Neeraj Chauhan, who is founder and director of the Financial Mall with the experience of 30 years in financial services. Dr. Chauhan has completed his graduation from Shivaji College itself, University of Delhi, and he is certified financial planner from FPSB India. Neeraj sir has delivered various guest lectures on personal finance in many professional bodies and organizations such as Network FP, Rotary Clubs, IP University, MDI, SRCC, Amity University, SDFC Bank, Economic Times, Investment Workshop, and so on. Neeraj sir regularly appears on money shows in various TV channels like Zee Business, India TV, Doordarshan, NDTV, and all. His articles and expert views get published in various magazines and newspapers also, such as Economic Times, ET Wealth, Outlook Money, Hindustan, etc. Neeraj sir is the first speaker to speak on the main platform of MDRT, annual meeting of Orland 2017, and was speaker of MDRT for session 2015 also. Neeraj sir is also life member of MDRT and he has served in various committees in MDRT. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Pratibha Maurya, for a kind introduction. I'm really thankful and I thank Life Learning for this opportunity, and my humble submission, my humble namaste to all learned people, all professors and lecturers of one of the premier institute of the country called Delhi University. I was just going through the list of those who have attended till now, and I saw that it is 80% of the attendees here today are women. And it's kind of heartening because in our Shastra, all these powers are with women, be it Lakshmi, Saraswati, or Durga. So I call it the power of LDS. So once again, my gratitude to all of you for this opportunity. So I'll begin today with my talk. I am sure I don't have much to add on what you already know, but sometimes a refresher of what you know and maybe some practical aspects to it can help you. As they say that वो बोले कागज की लेखी और हम बोले अखियन की देखी. So आज जो मैं आपसे बात करूंगा is largely what we have seen in practical with a lot of investors with us, and how I am going to help you. Let me see. Especially all these teachers are close to my heart because they are all our gurus, and my parents, they were teachers too. So I know what it takes to become a teacher and to kind of nurture the generations to come. So I'll begin with Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Par Brahma, Tasme Ma Guruve Nama. So as I said, I may not be able to teach you much, and I can't teach you honestly, but I will definitely try to make you think. As they say, कभी कभी यूं भी हमने अपनों को बहलाया है, कभी कभी यूं भी हमने अपने जी को बहलाया है, जिन बातों को खुद नहीं समझे वो औरों को समझाया है. So to begin with this, let's begin our journey today. So the first thing first in any personal finance, as we all know, is you don't know what may come in your life. So the first thing first is the emergency fund. I am sure as you all here, you are all in a government service, in a government work. So generally you have not faced what COVID had taught many investors outside the government jobs, those who were entrepreneurs, the business owners, or in the private firms where they were laid down. So emergency fund is the basic factor for any individual personal finance. We all know that. So what is emergency fund and why it should be there? You can feel free to write in the chat box if anything which is there. So how many of you feel and how many of you here sitting in this room today actually have emergency funds in place? Can I have a quick answer here on the chat box? It's in front of me right now. How many of you really have the emergency funds in place? Yes, great. Dr. Nirmal Jain, Dr. Vinita Kedhar. Yes, 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 yes. Super awesome. Very nice. So why do we need a emergency fund? क्यों चाहिए हमें? One thing we need emergency fund, there can be a medical emergency. I know, I understand that with you all being working for Delhi University, you have health insurances in place, right? So just in case if there is any contingency, you can always use your CGSS card and take your treatment. But sometimes there are some issues because of whatever technical reason or Babu is not there, or it's such odd time, you need some money at your hand to pay to the hospital first, and then you can get the reimbursements if it is not a cashless. Maybe the hospital is not there on the CGHS panel. So that's when it becomes a handy. Or it can be a family emergency, which can happen to any family member, independent or dependent. And then there can be natural disasters. Or though, as I said, University of Delhi has not defaulted, but we have seen even the government service guys, for example, MCD employees, they don't get sometimes their salaries on time. The private salaried guys, they don't get sometimes salaried on time. They get laid off. So one need to have that kind of a buffer to sail through such short, hard times, and then they can refill those. So, but the question here comes is, what is the advantage of doing it? Why because you can always have FD which you can withdraw, or you can have some other investments from where you can withdraw. But having a certain amount of emergency fund in place, and you know that, okay, the purpose of this particular fund is to meet down any emergency, it actually reduces your stress. You are not anxious about it. So it brings down your anxiety. Secondly, it will not disturb your long-term investments plan. For example, there might be a PPF account which is running, your GPF which is running. You have some long-term goals which are there and for which you are making investments. You don't need to compromise that, and you don't need to withdraw it. Or you may not want to withdraw from that. But just in case if it is not there, you may have to withdraw. Then you also have a clarity about what is the purpose of this particular amount which is set aside. And God forbid, generally it doesn't happen to people like those who are studying or teaching commerce. It will avoid debt traps. If you don't have money in place, you may have to borrow sometimes. So that's the advantage of having a contingency fund in place. The question comes next is how much you should keep aside. Ideally, 6 महीने का income से लेकर के 12 महीने का income is what you should keep as a contingency fund. So can I have a show of hands or the answers here? What is the amount which you have kept? Have you kept it less than 6 months, or you have kept it for more than 12 months? Yeah. आपके पास कंटिजेंसी फंड जो आपने रखा है, क्या वो 6 महीने से कम है या 12 महीने से ज्यादा है? 6 महीना, okay. 12 months. Okay, Dr. Vinita is more than 12 months, less than 6 months, less than 6 months. Okay, less than 6 months. Very good. So ideally 6 महीना minimum होना चाहिए, और अगर आप 12 महीने से ज्यादा रख रहे हैं emergency fund को, तो you are not using your funds optimally. So you will be compromising on the returns, right? So if I could ask, where do you keep this money as a contingency? Let's say the money is assigned for a contingency or emergency fund. Where do you keep this money? savings, debt mutual fund, great. Fixed deposit, savings account, FD or debt mutual fund, savings account, FDs. Okay. So that savings account. So a lot of you are keeping your money in savings account, right? So let me give you one takeaway here. So if you keep your money in saving account, you are getting an interest of 3.5%. That's one. That too is taxable. So ideally, you are not doing justice to your hard-earned money. Secondly, if you are keeping your money for more than 12 months, then again, you are underutilizing your money. It's not optimally used. If you are keeping your money in fixed deposit, of course, that qualifies for emergency fund because it is non-risky asset class. It is money at call all the time, but the interest is taxable for you, right? So it is not getting that kind of a return, which it can get. Those who are sitting in debt mutual funds, kudos to you. You are doing a good job. Within the debt funds, you can keep some money in a liquid kind of a fund and some money in a short-term duration fund. So you use the optimal returns. You can get the optimal returns on those funds. So don't keep this money in a saving account because saving account will not kind of clarity nahi aayega usme ki ye paisa kyun hai, and it is just like money in your saving account which can be for any use. So idea when you keep a contingency fund, it should be bucketed, right? There is a bucket strategy. So this bucket is my contingency fund bucket. And I am going to use this money only and only when there is a contingency. Because when you keep money in saving account, you don't know the purpose of that money, right? So the idea is if you don't understand debt mutual funds, okay to keep money in bank fixed deposit. Don't keep this money in a saving account. Ideally, you should use liquid or floating rate funds or the short-term and ultra short-term funds. It will help you to generate better returns without compromising on the objective of that money, right? So by doing so, you will make more returns without compromising on the goal which is there. So once the contingency is in place, the second most important piece of a personal finance is the risk management. And no matter how much you are earning or how much you have saved, your financial position can be dented by any contingency which can come. And it is called as risk because you don't know. There can be a black swan event. There can be some medical exigencies or something else there. So one need to be prepared for it. And these are the risks which you cannot avoid and which you can't foresee all the time. So there are two kinds of risks. One, you don't know about it, and one which can come, but we don't know the timeline of it. So that's the second kind of a risk. So what are the major risks if we look at? Pehla risk is dying too early during the earning span because you have your life, you have various goals, and God forbid if something like that happens, all those goals gets compromised. So that's the one risk which we all carry. We don't know because when we come, we don't have a certificate in front of us when it is going to expire. So we don't know that life certificate, right? So the second risk is we can lose the earning capabilities. That can happen for various reasons. Maybe a kind of a critical illness, which is taking away our potential to work. Maybe some kind of a disability and something else, right? So we lose our earning capabilities. So we need to take care of that. Third is some major health expenditures. And fourth is living too long. So out of these four, dying too early and living too long are the real risks, which we don't know. And we have to just plan for it. So how do we do that? Any idea? How do we cover a risk of dying too early? What can we do about it? Yeah, show me. What can we cover this risk? Yes, no, yes, no. Yes, yes. Okay. Yes, life insurance. Great. Yes, buy insurance. Life insurance, insurance policy. Okay, okay. Good. So what kind of a life insurance policy? LIC. What kind of a life insurance one should buy to cover this risk? Term insurance, pension. Oh, okay. Term. Very nice. Okay. So here is a bonus question. Term or a whole life insurance. Okay. So the bonus question is, how much should be the insurance amount? What should be the quantum of insurance? Yeah. Any idea? 10 years of salary. Okay. 10x of annual salary. Okay. Okay. So let's categorize that into two parts. One, you can cover a risk of dying too early through a term insurance. Perfect answer. That's the correct one. Whole life is pricey, usually avoidable, or any other insurance which is a bundled product which has investment to it is avoidable. There are two ways you can cover, and the concept is called as a human life value, right? And there are two ways to calculate your human life value. One way to do that is your expenditure mechanism, wherein you can calculate the expenditure and your earning span, and the present value of that is actually your expenditure method. Second is your income replacement method, right? What is your current income? How much you are going to earn over your earning span, and what is the present value of that? Plus, if you have any liabilities, if you have any loans, add that to your cover. Or if you have further liabilities towards your children to send them for education, some higher education, that also should be considered. Technically, if I take a thumb rule, for someone who is in the age bracket of 25 to 40, for them 20 times of your annual income. Someone who is 40 plus can look for a 15 times of the annual income, and someone who is 50 plus is 10 times of the annual income, right? So that is the kind of adequate cover or the adequacy of cover. So that's the second takeaway. For your earning capabilities, you can have a disability insurance or a critical insurance in place. For major health expenditures, as I said, you already have CGHS in place. So that will take care of it, but it will not take care of the loss of income due to major health expenditures. So a critical illness policies will kind of help you there. And then the fourth risk is living too long. It's a very, very practical risk in today's term because the life expectancy has gone up across the world. Even in India now, they are talking about a life expectancy of 80, 85 years, right? So which means 20 to 25 years post-retirement, right? So you need to figure that out. So as I said, savings can go haywire. Then health insurance you already have. I'll just briefly touch upon because most of you are already covered with CGHS. There are various kind of health insurances available here. If you sometimes feel like, because that's the practical problem which we have seen with CGHS guys, that cards were not accepted. Sometimes you want to go to your hospital and that hospital is not empaneled and you may have to go for the reimbursement and that takes time. Most of the time it is observed that a lot of hospitals discourage CGHS because of the payments and because they are paying lesser than the normal patient. So they kind of dissuade. And I have recently seen this happening with my father because he is also a beneficiary. We went for a knee replacement and doctor was kind of reluctant, though the hospital was empaneled. So sometimes people are, they want to buy their standalone insurance to take care of all this. So you can look for a floater, individual, critical health or a top-up. Probably you can look for top-up because that's very cheap form of buying insurance. Your basic cover can be taken from the CGHS. If it is something higher, then maybe top up can help you. And we have already touched upon the life insurance. Yes, you need a life insurance, and especially the term insurance. We have just discussed how much should be the quantum of that insurance. Type of coverages, whole life, someone said yes. I would say not a very preferred one until unless you want to cover yourself till the age of 80, 90 or 100. Generally, it was 100 earlier. Now it matures at 80. Term insurance, yes. Unit linked until unless you want to add it with some kind of investment. We don't generally prefer as a planner. Good to stick with term insurance and invest in your preferred asset class, the balance amount. And a disability insurance. The idea of disability insurance is that it helps you to sail through those turbulent times, and it pays in case of a disability. The most important part today is retirement, which is a risk of dying or living too long, right? And I'm sure you would agree. We all would retire one day. It's all a matter of age. And in today's scenario, retirement is not that word ke wo retire ho gaye. Retirement is a financial freedom because you have time in your hands and you want to enjoy your life. It's a second innings for a lot of people after all the responsibilities were taken care of. So what should we do about it? What you have done? What are your retirement plans? Are you just going to hang boots one day and sit at home, or would you like to travel the world, or would you like to do something? So what's your take? What would you like to do once you retire? Any ideas, any dreams which you want to follow? Yeah, it will help me to understand how you think about it. Yes, some world tours or a cruise. Yeah. Any ideas post-retirement? So how many of you are interested to retire or maybe retire early? I believe it's the 65 is the age right now. So what's the retirement age for the professors and lecturers? 65, yeah? Great. So everyone wants to work till 65. Okay. Om Prakash ji wants to retire early. Someone wants to retire at 45. Wow. So one thing has changed here, right? And I'm sure you all are aware of those who were employed before 2003 and those who joined from January 2004 onwards. There has been a change for them, and the change is big. Earlier, the government was taking care of all your pensions post-retirement, right? Now, government has washed their hands off. They say nothing doing, right? We will know what we can contribute. We are not here to take the liability for life, which is an unlimited liability. We don't know how to provision for it. So they moved from a defined benefit to defined contribution. And that's what changed everything for a lot of government employees, those who are in this sector, right? So how many of you are in NPS and how many of you are in fixed retirement kind of a benefit? So how many of you are there who are in NPS? Okay. GPF, great. Congratulations, Rajni ji, for having a GPF now. Old, okay, GPF. So NPS. Okay, old pension, GPF. Right. So most of you are in GPF. So you'll be taken care by the government. GPF, okay. Great. So if you understand that where the government is coming from and where the government is going, we have seen a lot of countries defaulting on their social security, right? Because they were not able to meet the requirements of their citizens. And that's where the government thought of to move away from the old system to the new system of NPS. And they changed it from a defined benefit to defined contribution. So it is important for them, those who are in NPS, to plan their retirement, because NPS doesn't guarantee you a pension. What they will do is you are giving them the contribution, which is deployed in debt or equity based on the factors which are there. And whatever the corpus it becomes will be given to an insurer or a company which provides the annuity, and you will get annuity. That's how it works. It has nothing to do with your last salary. It will not increase as per the old system where, DA and everything gets added year on year basis. It is not going to happen with the NPS. So the first thing which you can do, especially for those who are into the new regime, is do your maths. How much you need from 65 onwards? What is that number? What kind of a cash flow you require? And how much do you have as of now? And with the contribution which is going on year, how much it would become? If there is a shortfall, look for it. Is it sufficient? If good, if it is not sufficient, we have to make up for that. So some points which you should remember while do this calculation. Most of the times I have seen people forget the effect of inflation while calculating their kharcha. And kharcha, not the pre-retirement period, but the post-retirement period. So do consider that. The second is the medical cost. Keep some money aside for the medical contingencies post-retirement. Another important aspect is provision for your spouse. Most of the time, women's live longer than men's. That's the data which tells us, and generally the difference is 5 to 6 years. Life expectancy, as I said, today is going to hit 80, 85. Maybe by the time we reach that age, it may go further. If you have any liabilities post-retirement, do consider that. And what is the interest rate at that point in time which you will like to consider post-retirement as per your risk profile? Will you be keeping that money in a fixed deposit or a RD or a PPF or that kind of instrument or a bonds? Or will you take some exposure in equity? How much exposure in equity? So what is the weighted return which you are going to get? So that's something which you need to look at while doing this maths. So options to invest for you, there are bonds which are perpetual in nature, called as perpetual bonds. You have government bonds which are now you can trade on the RBI platform. They are available. But these are not inflation beaters. They will not beat the inflation, right? And post-tax may be lesser than that. So real return will actually be negative. Then the annuity plans. Insurance companies जो pension plans बेचती हैं, आपने आज एक lump sum deposit किया, from next month the immediate annuity starts. Or the deferred annuity plans, where you pay for a period of time and you don't get till that time, you accumulate your corpus, and once the corpus is there, you reach a vesting age stage. Uske baad they start giving you the monthly cash flow. So these are all the pension plans which are available today. Then we have the retirement plans from mutual funds. You can use that as well. In those plans, you have option to invest in equity, you have option to invest in debt, you have option to invest in hybrid. So all these three options are available. And then of course, PPF, which is a very good scheme. You can use that up to the maximum amount, which is 1.5 lakhs as of now. Returns are totally secured and tax-free. So it makes a good sense to use PPF. So these are the options to invest. So as I said, then also a unit-linked pension plan, which is linked to the market. So there are two kinds of insurance plans. One is a conventional plan, which doesn't invest into the market, and it gives you a sort of a bonus based on the profitability or under that portfolio. And once it is declared, it gets accrued to your policy. But unit-linked plans are the market-linked plans, wherein the performance is based on the market movements. And you can always switch between 100% safe of a debt or a equity or a hybrid. There are options available. You can move from A to B, B to C. And there is no taxation when you move between these A policy to A option to B option or C option, and you accumulate fund. But once you start receiving the pension from this policy, it is taxable. So that's again point which we have to consider. Then, as I said, conventional insurance policies, you can pay for a fixed tenure and then you start getting the cash flow year after year or month after month based on what you choose. And retirement funds, these are good flexible options where you can invest as and when you want. You can invest in lump sum, you can invest in high SIP mode, and you may invest whenever you want. It is tax efficient too. So another option which is available for you. So these are the options to accumulate your money and to get the distribution in retirement. Then let's talk about the interesting subject of mutual funds. So how many of you here are already investing in mutual funds and how many of you know about it? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Little bit. Okay. So only one. Yes. Have invested. Okay. So yes, advice of someone. Great. Yes. So when you invest in mutual fund, are you investing in equity or a debt or a hybrid? Someone said ELSS. Okay. So are you investing in debt, hybrid or equity? Balanced. Okay. Equity. Okay. Equity. Wonderful. So what has been your experience with the investments in mutual funds? So let me take the first-hand information. How has been your experience so far and how long you have been investing? Koi khas nahi, okay? At par from last 2 years, okay? So I'll try to touch upon all this. Why the experience for some is not so good. Okay, and okay. So if I see it correctly, a lot of you have started just a year or 2 years back. Okay, Dr. Nirmal Jain is doing it for last 5 years and he has a good experience. Yes. SIP, not a good experience. Okay. They also behave according to Sensex. It was a good experience. So it's a mixed experience. Someone says not so good, especially those who invested in last 1.5 to 2 years. It's been good for those who have been investing for long. So in mutual funds, what you heard about it is mutual funds investment are subject to market risk. All read all the documents carefully, right? That's what we know how the mutual fund is. And then came mutual fund sahi hai, and which is now just reflected here. Some say sahi hai and some say sahi nahi hai, right? So one DSP 2008 gave me 20% return, still better than FD. True. So let's talk about it. So basically, when you do a FD or you do direct equity or you buy bonds, you are a investor just like you have a car and the way you want to drive, you can drive it. But then there is a PMS, which is a professional management services. You give them money and then they invest as per your objectives, as per your needs, as per your desires. And the third is the public transport system. That is what mutual fund is. It will take you to the goal. There is a common objective of that particular scheme. Based on the objective, you choose your scheme and then you invest. So it's a pool of money where you invest. And the experience can be different for different people. It all depends what kind of investments you have chosen, what was the objective of that investment, and how long you have been investing. So there can be the mixed experience for that. Today, the advantage of mutual fund is one, it's a professional management. There is a fund manager, there is a asset management company, and within a fund manager, they have analysts. Those analysts analyze the sectors. If it is equity fund, they analyze the industry, they analyze the micro and macro environment of the economy, and then they deploy money. Then it gives you the diversification. Today we have mutual funds which can invest into a large cap, which can invest into mid cap, across different sectors, across different cycles. It can invest into debt, it can invest into equity, they can invest into gold, and a very, very convenient administration. They have very good return potential. If you are a short-term investor, you have to choose a separate or a different investment instrument, not equity. You may look at liquid fund or overnight fund or a short-term fund, where you can definitely get a return which is better than your saving account or FD account. It is very low cost nowadays. Liquidity is very good. If you invest into a debt fund, you get your money back in 2 days. If you are investing in equity, now you get your money back in 3 days. Full transparency, the portfolios are disclosed on monthly basis. You can see where your money is deployed. On daily basis, you can see their performance. You have flexibility to move between these schemes. You have plethora of schemes to choose from. It is tax efficient. It is taxed at lesser rates than your fixed deposits, and very well regulated by SEBI. So broadly, if I talk about, there are 5 kind of mutual fund schemes which are available today. As I said, one is equity. Second is hybrid, debt, solution oriented. Then there are others, which ETFs and index funds and all those things. So what is debt fund? We started in saying that all your emergency or a contingency fund ideally should go to a debt fund. Debt fund basically invest into the fixed instruments like corporate bonds or a money market instruments or the government of India securities. So it is kind of safe, and each scheme has some 20 to 30 or 40 papers. So you can understand the kind of comfort it gives. Even if some paper defaults, you will not take that kind of hit as you can take if you are doing an individual fixed deposit. So it's a very good fund, and it is taxed separately. If you keep debt funds for 3 years or more, the taxation is 20% and you get the indexation benefit. So effective taxation will be somewhere around 10%. Whereas if you put money in a fixed deposit, firstly, you will get a lesser return. Secondly, you will be taxed at the slab rate. Sorry. So it's a difference of pretty reasonable number if you look at the post-tax return. So they are better off than the FD. You can always look at it. It is for the investors who are conservative, not very aggressive, and they don't want to take risk. So that's one option. Then we have equity funds, right? After debt funds, as I said, you can park any money which is more than 10 days to 3 months, there is a one window. Then 3 months to 6 months or 9 months is another window. Then 1 year to 3 years and 3 years to 4 years. So any money which comes within this timeline and you need that money within these periods, you can use debt funds. You will have a good experience. But choose a debt fund reasonably okay. Don't go for long duration fund, especially if your money is not for a long duration. Then we have hybrid funds. Hybrid fund kya hai? It's a mix of 2 or more asset class, right? For example, equity hai, then you have debt, then you have gold, then you have international funds. So a mix of any of these asset class, it's a hybrid fund. So you can invest accordingly. It actually is more riskier than the debt fund, but lesser riskier than pure equity funds. So all those who want to be in a moderate kind of a risk profile, they can look at the hybrid funds. And nowadays we also have the balance advantage category or a dynamic category wherein they change their exposure based on the market situations. So what are the hybrid funds which we have? We have conservative hybrid, which invests only 15-20% in equity, balance in debt. Then we have balanced hybrid, which invests 50% equity, 50% debt. We have aggressive hybrid, which has 65% equity, 35% debt. Then we have dynamic asset allocation, which change their allocation based on the market. We have multi-asset, which will invest into gold, which will invest into equity, which will invest into debt, and some international exposure. Then we have arbitrage funds. They are very safe funds. They are categorized at hybrid. They don't take much risk. And equity savings fund, which is 30-35% of equity. Then yes, as we all know, most of the times mutual funds is known by their equity funds. The minimum exposure into equity in equity funds is 65%. A balance they can move to equity, or they can move to debt, or they may hedge their positions, or they may keep some cash based on the outlook of the fund manager. So we have within the equity funds, we have various categories. We have large cap funds, those who invest into only top 100 companies of the Sensex, they are large cap funds. Then we have large and mid cap funds, which is from 100 to 250 stocks, and small cap is beyond 250 stocks. So we have multi-cap funds, flexi-cap funds, which can invest into any kind of equity, maybe large cap, mid-cap, or small cap. Mid-cap will invest primarily only into mid-cap. Small caps, the choti companies hai. Tax saver funds are ELSS. Most of the time we use it. Someone definitely mentioned it. Then we have sector funds, which invest into a particular sector. For example, someone may say, I want to invest only into pharma companies, or I want to invest only into banking companies. So these are all sectoral funds. Then thematic funds based on different themes, business cycles, thematic funds, value funds, index funds, and the international funds. In international funds, you can invest into other countries, like you can invest into US stocks, you can invest into China stocks, you can invest into Japanese stocks, you can invest into European stocks. So all those funds which invest overseas, they are international funds, and you can actually diversify your portfolio today. Otherwise, we don't have any option. Let's say somebody wants to buy Microsoft. They can't do it, right? They can invest through these funds and take investments into those large houses or the large companies. And then we have solution-oriented funds. As I said, for example, if you want to save for your retirement, we have retirement funds. If you want to save for your kids' education overseas, we have children fund. So these are specific funds for a particular goal or an objective. So they're all solution-oriented funds. So here is a small sheet which I tried to help you. For example, if you have a money which is less than a year and you need that money within a year, use liquid, floater, and arbitrage funds. It's a very good option to temporarily park your funds. For example, if somebody has sold a property and don't want to use that money for some time, they can put that money into these funds and earn income on that. Contingency funding, yes, you can do that. Then there's a window of short term, which is 1 year to 3 years. Use debt funds. For example, you're planning a overseas vacation. Use that to deploy your money or to save that. You want to buy a car in 2-3 years and you want to save for it, or you want to have some fixed income, you can use it. Anyone who has a time horizon of 3 years to 6 years can use balance fund. Only those who have a time horizon of 6 years plus should go for 100% equity. Otherwise, you may not have a good experience. As we have seen in the chat, those who have been investing for long, they have a good experience. Those who have been investing for 1.5 to 2 years, they are not very happy about it. But if you keep that money for next 6 to 8 years, you will see a decent return on those portfolios for sure. Similarly, if it is very long term, then you can look for small cap and mid cap too. Then there is a concept called SIP, which is nothing but हमारा पुराना फैशन का जो RD हम लोग करते थे, be it a bank or a post office. So it's the same kind of a concept where you invest month on month in a mutual fund scheme. So that's called as a systematic investment plan. It's very handy, very comfortable, very convenient. कुछ नहीं करना है, automatically पैसा gets debited from your account. It brings discipline. It will not let your money park idle in your saving account and earn nothing out of it, especially your hard-earned money. It gives you the advantage of cost averaging. कोई आपने market एक level पे खरीदा दूसरे level पे, so it basically averages out. And then it gives you the power of compounding, and it is a very excellent tool to achieve your long-term goals or a medium-term goals. So try that, but don't look at for a short-term. That's my humble request. Especially if you are doing an equity, if it is a short term, do your SIPs in debt funds. You will get better than your fixed deposits or a RD which you do in a post office or the RD which you do in your bank. It's a efficient method, very effective method. The SIP, you can choose any amount. There's no restriction, as low as 500 and as high as you can. You can stop it anytime. So it's not like that if you start today, you have to run it for 20 years, 30 years. If you are not comfortable, you can stop it anytime, but avoid doing that in the impulse. And your money can grow to any number based on the asset which you choose. As I said, the benefits are it's lighter on your wallet, makes market timing irrelevant. You don't need to see the markets day in, day out. It enables cost averaging, benefits of compounding, and helps in goal planning. Just to give you a number, if someone starts a SIP of 10,000 rupees for 20 years, assuming a return of 12%, it becomes 1 crore. And if your children are there and you want to plan for them, just 10,000 a month can grow as good as 12 crores in 14 years. So that's the power of compounding. 10,000 today is hardly anything, but it becomes a big number if you do it consistently. And if you just increase your contribution by 10% year on year, for example, we begin with 10,000 and make it 11,000 next year, 12,100 the third year. Within 40 years, instead of 12 crores, it becomes roughly 49 crores. So that's the power of SIP. The small number becomes so big. The reverse of SIP is SWP, right? For example, somebody wants to have a regular income, they can deploy a lump sum and start taking regular income from there. So that's called SWP. It's a very effective tool to have a regular cash flow, uninterrupted cash flow, and a tax efficient cash flow for retirees or those who are nearing retirees. Generally, we have seen people, those who retire, they park their money into very safe or ultra safe asset class, like senior citizen savings scheme or the bonds or the LIC Pradhan Mantri Vaya Vandana Yojana and something like that. The problem with those is the income is taxable and it is static. It is not beating inflation. So at one point in time, you start eating your capital because inflation grows by 7%, 8%, 9%, and your money is not growing like that. So if you use some kind of a hybrid fund and do SWP over a long period of time, you will be better off. ELSS, as we all know, some of you are already investing. It's a tax saving instrument within a mutual fund, which locks your money for 3 years. It invests into equity, though it is risky, but we have seen it over a period of time. It has delivered better returns as compared to PPF and various other instruments. So PPF is another asset class, which I said is good for risk-averse investors, having a security. And you can't invest more than 1.5 lakhs. So no point talking much about it, but you can use it. So the advantage of ELSS versus PF, it is tax efficient. Both are tax efficient. ELSS gives you returns which are higher than PPF, but ELSS, as I said, is risky. PPF is safe. Liquidity in ELSS is much more because it is locked for just 3 years, whereas PPF is a 15-year scheme. And you can't take your money out before 6 years, which is again a partial withdrawal. None of these you can use to short-term money. Then we have NPS. Most of you are already empaneled in that. You can use for extra 50,000 rupees, which is a rebate available here. It again act like a mutual fund because they don't guarantee anything. They deploy your money into equity or a debt based on the options which you choose. Returns are non-taxable when you take it at the age 60 on retirement, and you can only withdraw up to 60% of the contribution, which of the amount which is there, and balance 40% you have to take annuity there. So you don't have choice. So only 3 times you can withdraw from NPS, not more than that, and that too for some purpose. Otherwise, you can't withdraw. So the liquidity is poor here. You can also use NPS 2, which is a voluntary saving account. You can use that if you want to. Otherwise, mutual fund we feel is a better than the NPS from the tier 2 perspective. But tier 1, yes, we all should take the benefit out of it. It is a good option because it saves tax from day one, and then your returns are also kind of non-taxable apart from the annuity which are going to be there. PFRDA is the authority which manages your NPS. So it's an authority which has been set up in 2003. And since then, we have seen they are working. The objective is very clear for them, is to give social security to the mass as a pension or retirement. So which is there. So that's it from me. I think if you have any questions, I'm here happy to answer, so that we can touch upon if you have some specific queries or some specific questions here for me.
So the participants can unmute themselves and ask any question if they want to ask. If there is any question, please ask.
Okay, so there is a question from Nishi which says selecting a fund house and scheme is difficult for us. Nishiji, it is in the beginning, it is difficult for everyone. First of all, you have to understand the objective for which you want to invest, right? As we had a sheet which said that, okay, are you going to invest into debt or equity or hybrid? Sometimes, you know, what happens is based on the market, we start investing either out of greed or of fear, we start pulling out. Once you decide you want to invest in debt or equity, then there are certain parameters which you need to look at. First thing which you need to look at is the tenure of that particular scheme, how long it has been operating. Second, which you can look at is what kind of a risk they are taking to generate returns. So for that, you can look at the Sharpe ratio of that particular scheme. Thirdly, please check the portfolio. What are the stocks in the portfolio which is there, and what is the outlook of those stocks? So that's there. If you are kind of not very comfortable doing it yourself, take help of some advisor who can help you to understand your risk profile and your goal and can suggest you the scheme too. So the cost and expenditure for a mutual fund scheme varies. It is the minimal in the liquid and floating fund, which is roughly 15 bips to 25 bips. And it can go up to as high as 2.5% for very newly launched equity mutual fund. Okay, Nishiji, you can take services of a registered investment advisor who will not sell you the product. He will give you the suggestion and charges fees. So if you have a doubt of the biasness of an advisor based on the commission, he is not taking any commission. He will charge you and will give you the options. Okay. So Neetuji, you are asking about a STP. STP is a systematic transfer wherein you move your money from A scheme to B scheme. That's what STP is, which sometimes a lot of strategies are used while deploying money, which can be if you markets are high and your money is there, which has eventually to go to equity, you will park into a liquid or a floater fund. And from there, you move your money to equity over a period of time, or vice versa. Markets are high and you want to take some amount to save, then you may switch or you may do STP so that the money goes to a safer asset class. Tax implication of SIP. SIP's tax implication is based on the underlying scheme. If it is debt, it will be taxed at a debt. If it is equity, the taxation is different. In debt, the taxation is for first 3 years, it goes add backs to your income. After 3 years, it is a long-term gain, which is taxed at 20%, but you get the indexation advantage. In equity, the short-term gain is less than a year. The tax is 15% there. And if you keep your money for a year or more, taxation is 10%. And 1 lakh is exempt. 1 lakh of gain is exempt from that.
Sir, I think there is one more question. For 10-year periods, SIP in mutual fund is better or ETF is better? This question has been asked by Himanshu, sir.
So Himanshu ji, the challenge with the ETF SIP is that you will have to do a physical transaction month on month, because there is no mechanism where you can do SIP automatically. SIPs goes either into index funds or into a active or passive managed funds, not the ETF. So that's one. Secondly, I feel in current scenario, we don't have much liquidity in the ETF, and the spread of bid and ask is higher. So wait for some time till the market becomes so mature that liquidity is very good in ETF. Till then, you can choose any index fund or a actively managed fund.
So what is the criteria of choosing an index fund?
The criteria of choosing index fund is the tracking error, which you have to look at. Higher the tracking error, poor is the performance. So if the tracking error is low, the fund is good.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
I think, sir, all questions you have already answered all the questions. So
Done.
if there is any other question participants want to ask, please ask. But I think it is all questions you have already taken. So thank you so much, sir, for taking time out from your busy schedule. And you have also given insight over the retirement plans and various type of scheme over the period of time. So it was really a very grateful session, and it was a really very learning opportunity where we can just think in which kind of plan we should invest. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So a small announcement to all other participants who are here that we have a validatory session from 5 to 5:30 today. And so we are just starting our next session immediately. Also, those who have not submitted their no objection certificate, they are requested to kindly submit the no objection certificates for smooth functioning of distribution of e-certificates. Also, I'd like to inform you all that we will take at least 2-week time to just map all the attendance plus MCQ assessment. That's why we have already circulated all the attendance time to time. Plus, one more thing, which is at the end, I would like to add that we have one extended MCQ today after the session, which we will hopefully circulate to everyone before 8 p.m. And we will close the Google form at 4 tomorrow. So at 4 p.m. tomorrow. So I request you all to kindly fill that MCQ form before the specified time. So moving to the next, next we have our guest, Mr. Munish Sabharwal, sir. Sir, am I audible to you? Munish, sir?
Yeah, they're perfectly audible. Yeah. Audible and visible both. Yeah, thank you.
This is our last session, that is session 10. And Munish sir is Vice Chancellor. Let me introduce you all to Munish sir. Munish sir is Senior Vice President and Zonal Head of North SEBI Funds Management Limited. He is also joined between SEBI and AMU NDI, which is a French asset management company. Sir is BCom, MFC and CFP by his qualification. Mr. Sabharwal has 26 years. He is having 26 years of experience, covering 3 years in investment banking and 23 years in mutual fund. He appeared in various forums in print and electronic media for specialist and guest lecture. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I request you to now kindly address to the candidates who are here for the last session. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Pratibha, and thank you very much to all the participants. So today I have been
हमारा यूनिवर्सिटी इलेक्शन में कोई कमिटमेंट भी है
कहीं से नहीं, मैं सर कमिटमेंट
yeah.
Yes,
So,
sir. I'm just.
I have been told actually the session was a short-term course on financial literacy. You must have understood the various financial instruments, you must be knowing about the financial markets, and then obviously the various other financial intermediaries also. So, and the mutual fund is one of the financial intermediary which collect the money from the small investor, and with a certain object, they invest in different types of schemes. So as in today in India, so mutual funds are permitted to invest in 3 asset class. One is a debt, another is a gold, and third is a equity. So in these 3 asset classes, the mutual fund invest the money. So my topic today is on taxation, how we taxed. So I'm just sharing my screen. So is it visible?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Yeah, perfect. So we'll try to discuss the mutual fund taxation, because in this budget, there is a clear-cut message from the finance minister that we have to move from tax planning to a financial planning. That is the ultimate goal of the budget as such. So what we have to do it, and what is the objective of the finance ministry, we should understood it. And still we will discuss about the tax. The Benjamin Franklin has said there are 2 things which are certain. One is everything that is a death and the tax, which are certain. Everything else is uncertain. So how to reduce the tax, how to make a tax planning in the various financial instruments, so that we are able to curtail down the tax liabilities. So what we'll discuss in today's session, what is the long-term and short-term capital gains. So how the capital gains can be carry forward and set off, and what is the concept of cost inflation index, and what is the STT as a concept. So these things probably, and these are the terms I will use during my presentation. From long-term capital gain, I will use LTCG. The same way, the cost inflation index, I will use the CII, and the ELSS, I will use the term of ELSS and all that. So the mutual fund earning basically happen on the 2 way. One is the capital appreciation. The NAV of the scheme is keep moving up. And secondly, the periodical dividend which the mutual fund pays. So typically in all the mutual fund schemes, there are 2 options are available. One is a dividend option, which is today known as investment appreciation and capital withdrawal plan. So, and second is a growth option. In typically in investor appreciation and capital withdrawal option, we called it a dividend. Earlier we called it a dividend. The mutual fund schemes pay a certain amount to you from the NAV, and as and when they pay, the NAV will come down. In a growth option, so the NAV will keep on moving up. Intervening period, the mutual fund scheme will not pay you anything. It is up to you. As and when you want to withdraw the money from the mutual fund, you can withdraw as such. So capital gain basically is a difference between the purchase price and the selling price. What is the difference in that? That is a capital gain. Capital gain can be a capital gain also, and it can be a capital loss also. So as I told you, the mutual fund invests in 3 asset classes: debt, equity, and gold. But the products are different. There are hybrid products also. How it is taxed actually? So there are only 2 taxation. One is debt taxation, other is equity taxation. So what is equity fund as per the income tax definition? any fund having exposure of more than equal to or more than 65% in equity is considered as equity fund. All other funds which are not equity funds are considered, they are taxed as a debt. So even a gold fund, which are investing 100% of the money in the gold, physical gold, they will be taxed as a debt as per the taxation. So any fund where the exposure in equity is 65% or more, that is considered as an equity fund, and all other funds are considered as a debt fund as per the Income Tax Act. So in equity and debt, there can be two types of capital gains. One is a short-term capital gain, another is a long-term capital gain. In equity, the long-term capital gain is more than 12 months and short-term capital gain is less than 12 months. But in a debt where their exposure to equity is less than 65% or any other product, where if it is a less than 3 year, it is a short-term. If it is a more than 3 year, it is a long-term capital gain. So long-term and short-term capital gains are again, when we are entering and when we are exiting from this scheme, the tax liability, the beauty of the mutual fund vis-a-vis even in a debt fund, that is, there is no TDS. There is no TDS. Like in fixed deposits, you are putting a money in fixed deposit for 3 year or 5 year fixed deposit. Every year the income arises. And first the bank will do a TDS, then the balance you have to add in your income and you have to pay a tax on that. But in mutual fund, until and unless you withdraw the money from the mutual fund, no tax liability arises. Suppose you invest in a mutual fund and invest for a next and keep invested for 10 years. So there will be no tax liability. But in the case of fixed deposit, if you do a fixed deposit for 5 years or 10 years, even every year the tax liabilities arises because the tax liability is on the accrual. But in mutual fund, because it is a capital gain, the capital gain arises only when you sell the underlying instrument. That is the beauty of because that is where the compounded come into the picture. In fixed deposit, that compounding will not come into the picture in the same fashion as probably in the mutual fund, because we are earning on interest. But in fixed deposit, we are paying some of the money from our fixed deposit and rest of the money we have to pay from our own pocket on a yearly basis. So this is how the long-term and short-terms are defined. In short-term capital gain, the tax liability is, if it is an equity short-term capital gain is less than 1 year. So that is a 15% tax plus education tax and education cess and surcharges. In debt, whatever if it is a less than 3 year, if you withdraw from debt other than equity, that is considered as a debt. So it will be whatever the income that will be added in your income, and you have to pay a tax as per your tax bracket. If you're on 10%, it is a 10%. If you're 30%, then it is a 30% you have to pay. But if you come to the long term, for first 1 lakh capital gain, there is a zero tax. Over and above whatever the capital gain, and you have to pay a 10%, if it is a withdrawing after completion of a 1 year. So the long-term capital gain is first 1 lakh zero, over and above 1 lakh, there is a 10%. Suppose you invested 10 lakh in any of the mutual fund scheme, and after completion of 1 year, you withdraw, and you withdraw suppose 12 lakh. 2 lakh is a capital gain. On first 1 lakh, there will be a zero tax. On the balance 1 lakh, you have to pay a 10% tax. Mean 10,000 plus applicable surcharges and education tax, that will be your tax liability. But in the case of the debt, it is a 20% with indexation. So means 20% indexation will come down, that we will understand how the indexation work. It is a 20% with indexation. Indexation means the cost of inflation Every year, the income tax department declare the cost inflation index as per the prevailing inflation rate in the market. So accordingly, so the government say you have to reduce the inflationary element from your return, and on balance you have to pay a tax at the rate of 20%. For example, if you're investing in any debt fund, 100 rupees. So after 1 year, suppose they give us 7% return. So your 100 rupees become, it is a simple return. Your 1 lakh become 1,07,000 after a 1 year. After a 3 year, after completion of 3 year long-term capital gain. So 3 year compounded 1 lakh become 1,21,000. So it is a 1,21,000, 7,000 every year at a 7% at a simple rate. So you get 1,20,000. The government say you reduce the inflation. Suppose the average inflation is 5%. So mean in 3 years, it is a 5 plus 5 plus 5, it is a 15. On 21 rupees gain which you have to reduce 15 rupees. The rest, which is a 6 rupees, is your long-term capital gain. On this long 6 rupees, you have to pay a 20% tax, which is a 1 rupees and 20 paisa on the earning of 21 rupees. That is a very meager tax. But if the same money is lying in your fixed deposits, so you suppose you earn the same return, 7 rupees, 7% per annum for 3 years, or simple return, you get 121 rupees. In fixed deposit, you have to pay, if you are in 30% tax bracket, you have to pay 6 rupees and 30 paisa as a tax, 30% tax on 21 rupees. So the benefit of investing in debt-oriented mutual fund with the same type of risk profile as the fixed deposits is significantly higher. So how the index is calculated, how the cost inflation index is calculated, the value of the investment into the cost inflation index of repurchase year divided by the cost inflation index of the investment year. Suppose you have invested, value of your investment is 1,21,000 rupees. Suppose when you invested in the then the index was 100. So now after 3 years, the cost inflation index is 115. So you have to multiply your investment and divide it by the CIE of the investment year. So then actual the capital gain money will be it will be your capital gain, what the actual, where you have to pay the tax, that will come into your picture. So this we have tried to explain with the help of example so that we are able to understand it. Suppose this is our cost inflation index of various years. So in 2015, the index cost is 254. In 2018-19, when you withdraw, the cost inflation index is 120. And when you invested 1 lakh and you withdraw at 1,16,000, so cost of acquisition will be considered as 1 lakh multiplied by 180 divided by 286. It is 1,10,286. So this will be deducted from the actual value. On balance 5,764 only you have to pay that is your capital gain. On that you have to pay a 20% tax. So I think I'm able to explain the things. Can I continue, Dr. Pratibha? Yeah, if you feel any challenge, you please, I am just opening the chat box also. If you have any challenge, you just keep on posting the message. I am also looking simultaneously your chat box also, so that wherever the things are not clear, I am able to explain it again.
Yes, sir, please continue, because we are getting responses that everything is clear right now. Perfect. And last 10 minutes we can take for question and answer.
Perfect. So now we have understood that in mutual fund, there are the capital gains, short term and long term. I'm summarizing the things. So short term capital gain in the equities, if it is less, if we withdraw the money before completion of 1 year, and long-term capital gain in equities if we withdraw the money after completion of 1 year. Short-term capital gain in the case of debt if we withdraw the money before completion of 3 years, and long-term capital gain in debt if we withdraw the money after completion of 3 years. In short-term capital gain in the equities, that is taxed at a 15%. Long-term capital gain up to 1 lakh, there is a zero tax. On 1 lakh capital gain, there is zero tax. Over and above 1 lakh, there is a 10% tax. In a debt, short-term capital gains are added in our income, and long-term capital gains is a 20% with indexation. That is how. Then there is a provision of setting off of capital gain and loss under the income tax also. Set off or carry forward means suppose we have there is a one asset class where we are making a short-term capital loss and another is where we are making a short-term capital gain. So we can set off. Suppose there is a one mutual fund scheme, there is a 1,000 rupees short-term capital loss, and in another mutual fund you have a 1,000 short-term capital gain. So you can set off. So your tax liability will be a zero. So we will also understand these prevailing set off and the carry forward. And carry forward means suppose we have a short-term capital loss, but we don't have any short-term capital gain on that year. For how many years we can continue that loss in our books? Because we can in a future gain if something happen, so we can set off in the future incomes also those loss which will carry forward. Generally it is a 8 year, so we can just look into the. So the Income Tax Act give us authority to us that we can set off and carry forward our losses to the next years if we don't have any sufficient income in that year. So जो capital loss की जब हम बात करते हैं, that is a short term or long term, cannot be set off against any other income. There are basically 5 heads you must have studied. There is income from house property, income from capital gains, income from business and profession, income from other incomes, and income from the salary. There is a 5 head as per the Income Tax Act. So we cannot set off short-term and long-term loss of any other income. Suppose I have a short-term loss of 1 lakh rupees and I have a salary of 2 lakh rupees. I say, mera to nuksan ho gaya, so I have to pay a tax only on 1 lakh. That is not permissible in the Income Tax Act. Short-term and long-term capital losses can be set off only against the capital gains only. It cannot be set off against any other heads of income. Short-term capital loss is to be set off against only short-term capital gain. But where in the case of long-term capital losses, it can be set off against the short-term capital gains. We will come into it. This probably with the diagram, I will, the long-term capital gains can be set off against long-term capital loss can be set off against long-term capital gain. Long-term capital loss cannot be set off against short-term capital gains. Short-term capital losses can be set off against either the long-term capital gain or the short-term capital gain, as the case may be. And the first, I think that the same I have explained it in this slides. I think it is very, very clear. The long-term capital losses can only be set off against long-term capital gains. But long-term capital loss cannot be set off against long-term capital gains. Why it's so? Because short-term capital gain, they are taxed at a higher rate. Long-term capital gain are taxed at a lower rate. So that is why the long-term capital losses can be set off against only long-term capital gains, not against short-term capital gains. But short-term capital losses, they can either be set off against short-term capital gain or long-term capital gain. I think that will be clear. So in mutual fund, because Section 80C is a crowded space, and under Section 80C, you can invest up to 1,50,000. And the mutual fund, the ELSS schemes are covered, or in some of the cases, their retirement funds, they're also covered under section 80C, where you can invest up to 1 lakh. ELSS stand for equity link saving schemes, mean the schemes which are investing only in equities and where the lock-in period, compulsory lock-in period of 3 years is there. And we call them a equity link saving scheme. For all the mutual fund, there are designated schemes which are considered as ELSS. So you can invest, you can get the tax benefit under 80C only for 1,50,000. If you invest 10 lakh in the scheme, but the tax benefit is available only up to 1,50,000. And 1,50,000 under 80C. What the 80C cover, it covers your insurance premium also, it covers your NPS also, it covers the ELSS also, it covers the PPF also. Everything come under the category of 80C. So mutual fund too have a product, or even a bank fixed deposit where the lock-in period is of 5 years, that is also covered under the section 80C. So ELSS, as the name stands for, they are investing in the equity. So over the longer period of time, you invest in equity, you are able to make a handsome return in the equities. So the another term we use, the STT, security transaction tax. Security transaction tax is applicable. It is a 0.001% levied on the equity schemes when we sell it. So there are, as I discussed, started the presentation with the 4 types of asset, two types of asset class, equity and debt. So there are buying and selling, there are 2 transactions, there are total 4 transactions are there. When we are buying a mutual fund, there is a no STT. When we are buying a debt fund, there is a no STT. When we are selling the equity, there is a security transaction tax. But when you're selling the debt fund, there is a no security transaction tax. So security transaction tax in the case of mutual fund is only applicable when we sell the mutual fund, not when we are buying the equity or debt or selling the debt. It is applicable only when we are redeeming, when we are selling our mutual funds to the fund house. So there is a grandfathering category also, because when in January 2028, when the Jaitley Saab announced the budget, so they start taxing the equity oriented mutual fund. Before that, there was a no tax on long-term capital gain or in the dividend income of the mutual fund, because the government is charging the STT, security transaction tax, government was charging. So there was a no tax on capital gains on the equity oriented mutual fund. So, but in the budget in 31st January 2018, when the budget was introduced, they introduced a capital gain on the equities. So what they have done it, because people who have invested in before 31st January 2018, there was a zero tax if they withdraw the money before 31st January 2000. So they have introduced the concept of grandfathering. Grandfathering means, suppose you have invested in 2016, you have invested 100 rupees, and in 31st January 2018, your 100 rupees value is 200 rupees. And you withdraw on 1st April 2018, when the NAV is 210 rupees. So ultimately your gain is 110 rupees because you invested 100 rupees, but now it is a 210. Your actual gain is 110 rupees. You have to pay a tax on 110, because they say that people who have invested, we don't want to share those burden. So whatever the price of that unit on 31st January 2018, उस तक जितना भी capital gain हुआ है, there will be a zero tax. Over and above जो gain हुआ, उस पे only you have to pay a tax. So suppose on 31st January 2018, the value is 200 rupees. So your tax liability will be only start after 200. So it is 210, only 10 rupees you have to pay a capital gain tax, not on the 110 rupees. That is called a grandfathering. For that, the effective date for NAV is 31st January 2018. So I try to explain it with the help of this illustration, how the tax will be if you have opted for this grandfathering category. Suppose you have invested 100 rupees on 1st January 2013, and on 31st January 2018 the price is 300 rupees, and you sell in the June 2028. As I explained, your actual gain will be for the tax purpose will only be a grandfathering date NAV minus the date of selling NAV. There will be only 50 rupees will be your long-term capital gain. You have to pay a tax only on 50 rupees per unit. The tax on that, whatever the tax liability, you have to pay on that. But if you purchase on 1st January 2013 at 100 rupees, on 31st March, the price is 50 rupees. And in 2018, when you're selling, the price is only 100 rupees, then the grandfathering is not applicable. It will be your purchase price, the day when you purchase. So actual gain is 10 rupees. You have to pay a tax only on 10 rupees. But if the price is less than the grandfather day price, then there is no tax liabilities. I think the grandfathering concept is clear, because that is applicable to the mutual fund, and the same is applicable to the equities also, because in equity, direct equity also, the same taxation was applicable. All the dividends and the gains, long-term capital gains, were tax-free in the hands of the investor before 31st January 2018. So grandfathering is also applicable in direct equity investment also. So I have given you one product which is called a fixed maturity plan. Some of you must be aware this is a proxy to the fixed deposit, where the tenure is the fixed, the maturity date is the fixed, the money is locked for a fixed period of time. And when the mutual fund launched these schemes, they introduce the concept, they indicate the tentative return. So that is a proxy to the fixed deposits. So I try to there's the across the maturity, there are different maturities. Fixed maturity plans are available 1 month, 3 month, time to time, as per the demand in the market. All the AMCs, they launch the product 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, or even for 6 month, 1 month products also. So the only challenge is there is a lock-in period. There is a lock-in. There is a specific date. Though for giving you the liquidity, the units are listed in the stock exchange, but the liquidity is very, very low in the stock exchange. So you cannot sell that practically in the stock exchange. You cannot get the money back before maturity. If you in intervening period, you require the liquidity, you have to sell in the stock market, some buyers is available. So there is a low interest rate. So because the money is locked for a fixed period of time with a fixed return when you're investing in this scheme, so indexation benefit is available. So this is a key competitor to the bank fixed deposits. So there is a dividend option, which is we called it a no on every dividend which is more over and above 5,000, the TDS is also applicable. And then in dividend and the individual and issue of cases, the in all the dividends which are announced, over and above 5,000, whatever the dividend is now, the TDS is applicable, and all the dividends will be added in your income tax, and you have to pay a tax as per your income tax bracket for all the dividends. Earlier, in a debt funds, the dividends were taxed as a concessionary rate. There is a concept called of dividend distribution tax, but now the same is not applicable. Now everything, what are you getting in the shape of dividend? So that is why the name of the dividend plan has also been changed. So this is all I want to share with you about the taxation in the mutual fund. If you have any questions, query, so it's a most welcome. Dr. Pratibha, over to you, please.
Yes, so there is one question by Nishi ma'am, Dr. Nishi Sharma. Ma'am asked about SIP, and she asked about the explanation of SIP taxation a little more.
Yeah. So in a SIP stands for systematic investment plan. We are investing a fixed amount after a fixed period of time, monthly or weekly or quarterly. So we are investing 1,000 rupees, suppose 1,000 rupees every month. So, but every transaction, because there are different transaction date. Suppose we started the SIP on 1st January 2015. The first transaction is happened on 1st January 2015. Second happened on 1st February 2015 if it's a monthly SIP. Third transaction happened on 1st March 2015 and accordingly. And today you want to withdraw. So if it is a equity oriented schemes. So today suppose is the first is a 4th February. So the any amount which is more than which is accumulated up to 1st February 2022, any units before that will be treated as a long-term capital gain. And in last 1 year, which the number of units which you have accumulated, the gain if you sell those units also, so the gain from those units will be considered as a short-term capital gain or loss, as the case may be. Because the rational is a transaction, because SIP is a facility. When you're entering in the scheme in a various dates, so your capital gain period started from the date you invested and date you withdraw. So that will decide. In last 1 year, whatever your amount investment in last 1 year, they had not completed 1 year. So that is considered as a short-term capital gain. Over and above 1 year, whatever the number of units you withdraw, that will, whatever the gain arises from that will be considered as a long-term capital gain. I think this is the only question, or I answer?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. That was the question. And there is one more question from Dr. Sunita. Ma'am has written in the chat. While you were showing about capital loss and godfathering, ma'am has just asked in case in third case on your slide, can it be considered as capital loss? Third slide here means loss.
Of course, that will be considered as capital loss. Yes, that will be considered as capital loss. That will be considered as capital loss. Yes, of course. Because in grandfathering, the price is 130 rupees and you're selling at 110. So in grandfathering, that will be considered as a capital loss.
Okay. So I think if there is any other question, you can just write in the chat. Dr. Sunita is saying thank you for answering the question. If there is any other question, please ask. Sir, we can move forward then. Sir, I think till now everything is clear. We can move forward.
Yeah, we have before the time we have we have started a little early, and I'm through with the presentation. If you have any question, query on mutual fund, on financial industry, or anything else, you can also ask. Not only the taxation purpose, otherwise also, the forum is open for other questions. Yeah.
Ma'am is asking Sunita, ma'am, you can unmute yourself, ma'am. You can ask question directly to sir.
Excuse me, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, please.
Can I ask you?
Yeah, please.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful presentation. Sir, why there is no interhead? What's the logic behind that? There is no interhead adjustments of the losses, like capital loss from the salary or the other heads, because I think this is the only head for which interhead adjustment is not allowed, right?
Yeah. Because the short capital gains are otherwise considered as a lower taxation. And that is why they are not permitted. Like in long-term capital gains, we were discussing just a moment. I'm just showing you. Because in capital gain also, there is a restriction. that only the long-term capital loss can be set off against long-term capital gain, because there is a tax liability is substantially concessional in long-term capital
Yes.
gain with the short-term capital gain. The same is true for the other heads also, which are in salaries. Probably we are in 10%, 20%, 30% tax bracket. So accordingly, the other heads. So that is why that will be the only logic. I don't think any other logic that it cannot be set off against the other heads.
Okay. Sir,
Good
can
evening,
I
sir.
ask you a
Good
question
evening,
that
sir.
is?
Good evening,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, good evening, please.
So what is the concept of haircut?
Haircut.
If you would like to answer, otherwise.
Yeah, of course, I will answer. Haircut concept come into the picture. What I understood, probably I am telling on that context. You may have another context and you tell me, then probably we can explain on that context also. Haircut concept come into the picture in 2017, when there was a default by ILFS and the DHFL of the world. So they are not able to, because they certain mutual funds, they have invested their money, but they are not able to pay back the full money because the assets were not supporting that. So suppose I have invested 100 rupees in DHFL. So I'm getting back only 50 rupees. So the 50 rupees, which is a balance, that is considered as a haircut. That when the default has happened and we are recovering a partial of the money, the loss what we suffer, that is called a haircut. If you have any context, any other context, you can tell me, but otherwise in a normal finance language, this is what we use as a haircut concept.
Sir, in equity buying, when we are buying shares, direct shares
Yeah.
from the secondary market, like.
So that will be that will be the brokerage's part only. Suppose the stock is trading at 150 rupees, and you are buying at 150 rupees, and you are buying at 151 rupees. So the 1 rupees, which is a brokerages, that can be the. Otherwise, in equity, there is no concept of haircut. There is a haircut concept that is only in the debt fund. Because in equity, there are inherent volatilities there, that in part and parcel. Because in debt, where it is considered that probably what I am paying you, you have to pay back that money. In equity, that is linked with the volatility of the market as such. So there is no concept of haircut in equities as such. The only concept in a debt, in fixed income instruments.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, one more question. What are the different statements nowadays which are issued in case of equity buying?
Statement means?
Like different statements which are sent. Some statements are sent by DP, some statements are being sent by Carvi, and also it has become so confusing. So if you could just tell about that. Thank you.
There are broadly two types of statement, and third type of statement on the request. There are two statements. One is statement which is sent by the asset management company or a registrar of companies like Carvi or CAMS, or by the AMC asset management company. So that is as and when you purchase or redeem or switch. So they send you a statement either through a soft copy or a hard copy to you. The second statement comes from the NSDL. The NSDL send the consolidated statement of all your holding in equity market. That is whatever you're holding in equity stocks and whatever you're holding in all mutual fund put together. These are the two statements. Generally, NSDL send the statement, consolidated statement on a quarterly basis, which shows your equity holding and mutual fund holding across the mutual funds. And the second statement is held by the individual mutual fund as and when you do any transaction. And third statement, which is sent on the request, that is a capital gain statement. As you have sold the mutual fund, so you want to know what is the capital gain of your whether it's long term or short term. So on your request, the AMC sent another statement, that is a capital gain statement, where whatever you invested and what you withdraw, what is the difference, and what is the long term or short term capital gain arises, that is calculated. Their systemic generated statement, and that will send to you. These broadly three statement of accounts are generally sent by the fund houses and the registrar of the fund houses.
Excuse me, sir. So can I ask one question different from this thing?
Yeah, please.
Sir, you said that there are 5 heads of income, right? and the active business activity of owning and maintaining race horses. This is a business activity, and why it is shown under the head income from other sources and not under the head business profession head?
But that is not a business and profession. When you are betting, cannot be a business.
Sir, betting is not there, no? Owning and maintaining race horses.
Owning and maintaining race horse, that can be a business. That will be considered as a business income. That is, if you're owning and maintaining
only the business horses.
That will be a business only. Yeah, of course.
So that will be shown under the head business.
Business and profession. Yeah, of course. But if you are betting and you are benefiting out of it, maintenance is one, and you are.
But sir, I think I have seen it in the ITR that owning and maintaining race horses is shown under the head income from other sources.
There are two things. Owning and maintaining is one thing.
Yes.
And number two,
betting.
Income from betting. Either you win or your customer win. Whatever the income arises from that will be with the same head, actually, from the income from other sources. If your own that can be run by an outside agency also, maintenance, and that can be a different agency which is not having a profit from the betting and all that. If it is a betting income, that will be definitely from the income from other sources.
Sir, I do not have any doubt about the betting income, but I was surprised to see why this owning and maintaining the race horses activity is shown under the.
Generally, owning and maintaining means a person who has betting with the and promoting the betting. That is why it is in other sources. If it is a divorce between the business, the maintenance business is done by the different agency.
Okay.
And the betting
means he must be carrying on this betting business also along with that.
Yeah, along. So that is why it is clubbed.
Okay, awesome, sir. Thank you so much. Wonderful presentation, sir. Thanks a
lot. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Sir, can you tell us the indexation formula which you have used here for financial assets, the same formula is used for real assets also?
Yeah, of course. Same formula. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir, one more question, if you permit me.
Yeah, please.
When we buy and evaluate the mutual fund schemes, so should we really see the cost and expenses also? Does that matter a lot? Or as a ordinary investors, like what should we see in their prospectus? वो documents दे देते हैं, इतना बड़ा लिखा तो इतनी सारी चीजें होती हैं. Sir, it's really difficult for us to analyze. कह तो देते हैं कि पढ़ना चाहिए, document ये करना चाहिए, लेकिन उसमें से कुछ समझ नहीं आता. Thank you, sir.
देखिए, पढ़ना तो definitely that will add value. But when you are hiring the services of the mutual fund,
sir, मोटा क्या देख लेना चाहिए, कम से कम थोड़ा.
Number one, we have to look into the fund house pedigree. That is very, very important. And number two, we have to look into the objective of the scheme, for which purpose actually the scheme is there. And number three, we have to look into the portfolio of the scheme. So, and fourth, we can look into the capability of the person who are managing your money. These 3-4 things are, so if the fund house pedigree is a good, and you can bet upon the fund house.
सर, इतना ज्ञान होता तो सीधी ना शेयर्स में लगा लेते पैसा.
वही तो बात है ना, सीधा शेयर में और भी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है.
ओके.
सीधा है ना, वो एक आपने सुना होगा, वो शेर भी कहता है ये इश्क नहीं आसान, बस यही समझ लीजिए, आग का दरिया है और डूब के जाना है. जो आग है दैट इज समय, है ना, और डूब के जाना है दैट इज अ समझ. अगर आपके पास समय और समझ दोनों है, then you can win the equity market, है ना. But you are busy with your profession, as a teaching profession, as a teacher or lecturer or professor, as the case may be, है ना. You don't have any time. If it is a 24-hour job, then definitely you can make a much more money than actually the mutual fund make for you. When you are hiring the services of somebody, you have to look into the qualification. As you shortlist the doctor, किस डॉक्टर के पास जाना हमने, उसके लिए भी कुछ तो एनालिसिस करते हैं ना. आप किसी के पास भी नहीं चले जाते आप.
यस सर.
है ना. द सेम वे उस डॉक्टर को सिलेक्ट करने के लिए जितना आप होमवर्क करते हैं, उतना ही होमवर्क आप म्यूचुअल फंड में इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए, उससे ज्यादा की जरूरत नहीं है, है ना. आपको देखना चाहिए वो MBBS डॉक्टर है, ठीक है भाई, है ना, और उसका आसपास 2-4 लोगों से रेफरेंस पूछ ले भी कैसे हैं जी ये, है ना?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी,
सेम वे ट्रू फॉर द म्यूचुअल फंड ऑल्सो। अगर आपको लगता है यार ये HDFC, SBI, HDFC ब्रांड अच्छे हैं, लॉन्ग टर्म सस्टेनेबल ब्रांड हैं ये, है ना,
हाँ जी,
और उनकी कौन सी स्कीम्स की परफॉर्मेंस देख लिया, है ना, स्कीम की परफॉर्मेंस एक ही फंड हाउस की स्कीम कंटिन्यूसली आउट परफॉर्म नहीं कर सकती, दैट इज पार्ट एंड पार्सल, ऊपर नीचे जाना दैट एंड पार्सल, कभी SBI आगे होगा, कभी HDFC आगे होगा, कभी ICICI आगे होगा, कभी एक्सिस आगे होगा। हमने देखना है यार मेरे टेम्परामेंट के साथ कौन सी स्कीम मैच करती है ना? तो हमें आवर ऑब्जेक्टिव व्हेन वी आर इन्वेस्टिंग इन द म्यूचुअल फंड शुड नॉट बी अ रिटर्न मैक्सिमाइजेशन, आवर ऑब्जेक्टिव शुड बी अ ऑप्टिमम रिटर्न वी शुड गेट, है ना? द डेफिनेशन ऑफ optimum return is different for the different people, and the return is the byproduct of the risk we take, because nothing is free in this world except mother's love. If somebody giving you high return, so he's definitely exposing you to the high risks also. So we should know the risks actually when we are investing in any financial instrument or any mutual fund scheme, what type of risk the fund manager is taking, and that is very, very important. So ultimately return will come from the underlying risks only which will take. So so if we know the pedigree of the fund house, we know the pedigree of the fund managers, we have seen the track record for 5 year, 7 year, 10 year track record is good. So short term track record can be ऊपर नीचे हो सकता है, but we should not look into the return is the byproduct of the risk we'll take, that I am again telling you, है ना? So हम सिर्फ रिटर्न की तरफ भागते हैं। अभी पिछले साल A फंड ने हमें 50% रिटर्न दिया, B फंड ने 45% रिटर्न दिया, इसलिए 45% वाला फंड खराब है और 50% वाला फंड अच्छा है, ऐसा नहीं होता।
इसको कैसे एनालाइज करें हम जैसे एज ए लेमैन?
हाँ, लेमैन को एनालिसिस करने के लिए अभी तो वैल्यू रिसर्च, मनी कंट्रोल यहाँ पे है ना? वी हैव टू लुक इनटू द ड्रॉ डाउन, है ना? जब टेस्टिंग टाइम होता है, हम कैसे किसी दोस्त की, हम कैसे पसंद, दोस्त को कैसे करते भी ये हमारा अच्छा दोस्त है या बुरा दोस्त है, कौन से, जो दोस्त हमारे पास बुरे टाइम में हमारे साथ खड़ा रहता है ना, हम उसको कहते हैं अच्छा दोस्त है। जब हमारा अच्छा टाइम होता है उस वक्त सब लोग हमारे दोस्त होते हैं, ठीक है ना? ये फैक्ट है ना, ये लाइफ का।
हाँ जी,
सेम इज ट्रू फॉर द म्यूचुअल फंड ऑल्सो। जब मार्केट में टेस्टिंग टाइम हुआ उस वक्त किस फंड की एनएवी कम गिरी,
ओके,
दैट इज द मोर इंपॉर्टेंट। ये नहीं भी जब अच्छी मार्केट चल रही है किसने सबसे ज्यादा रिटर्न दिया, वो अच्छा नहीं फंड।
तो सर 2008 वगैरह इनका देखें हम, उसमें
हाँ,
तब कैसे किया
2008
था?
का देखिए, 2013 का देखिए, है ना, कोरोना क्राइसिस का देखिए, है ना, तो उसमें कम फंड, कौन से फंड है जो कम गिरे हैं। क्योंकि आपको एक और समझना पड़ेगा, अगर मेरे फंड ने 100 रुपए का फंड था और 2008 का क्राइसिस आ गया और उसकी एनएवी 50% गिर गई, तो मेरी एनएवी कितनी हो जाएगी?
50 रुपए हो गई सर।
50 रुपए हो जाएगी। अगर मैंने दोबारा 100 रुपीज तक पहुंचना तो मुझे कितना रिटर्न गेन करना पड़ेगा?
वही 100% करना पड़ेगा सर।
100%। गिरा तो 50% है और रिकवरी के लिए 100% के बराबर आऊंगा मैं, है ना?
हाँ जी,
जो फंड कम गिरता है ना, वो ओवर द लॉन्गर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम आपको ज्यादा रिटर्न देता है। दैट इज माय प्रिसाइज पॉइंट, है ना? वी हैव टू लुक इनटू द ड्रॉ डाउन, किस फंड की जो टेस्टिंग टाइम पे एनएवी कम गिरा है, जो कम गिरा है वही, अगर थोड़ा वो कम भी बढ़ेगा ना, जब बढ़ते हैं तो फिर भी आपका ओवरऑल रिटर्न उस फंड से ज्यादा होगा।
बहुत बढ़िया सर, बहुत खूब, वेरी नाइस एक्सप्लेनेशन। थैंक यू सर। आज मेरे को ये समझ में आया कि रिस्क को देखते कैसे हैं, थोड़ा सा आपने बहुत अच्छा एग्जांपल देके समझाया सर। थैंक यू सो मच।
देखिए ये जो प्रोग्राम इसका किया ना, ये आज जो डॉक्टर प्रतिभा ने इनिशिएटिव लेके ये प्रोग्राम ऑर्गेनाइज किया है, इसका फायदा तभी है ना, अगर आप सब लोग फाइनेंशियल मार्केट में इन्वेस्टमेंट करना शुरू करते हैं। क्योंकि मैं कई इवन फाइनेंस के लोगों से भी मिलता हूँ, है ना, वी आर इलिटरेट विद देयर फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग में इलिटरेट है।
सर हम भी हैं एक तरीके से ना।
हाँ, तो इसलिए हमें ये सीखना और आगे जो स्टूडेंट हैं उनको सिखाना है हमने, है ना, दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। अभी तक जो जनरेशंस हो गई हैं हमारी हैं या हमारे पेरेंट्स की है, उनको तो म्यूचुअल फंड में इक्विटी में लगाया नहीं लगाया कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है ना। हमें प्रॉब्लम थोड़ी थोड़ी आ रही है, अभी नहीं लगाया इक्विटी में तो, बट आने वाली जो नेक्स्ट जनरेशन है उसको और भी ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम आएगी अगर वो सिर्फ फिक्स डिपॉजिट की तरफ भागेंगे, है ना। तो वी आर इन दी स्ट्रक्चरल चेंजेस हमारी इकोनॉमी में हो रहा है, जैसे यूएस में हुआ 70s में, जैसे 50s में जापान में हुआ, द सेम वे वी आर देयर कस्प, है ना, जहां पे अगले 5-7 साल इक्विटी मार्केट इज लाइकली टू गिव अ गुड रिटर्न। स्टॉक मार्केट इज स्लेव ऑफ अर्निंग. अगर कंपनीज का प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी बढ़ रहा है तो दैट विल रिफ्लेक्ट इन द स्टॉक प्राइस मूवमेंट ऑल्सो. अगर कंट्री ग्रो कर रहा है तो दैट विल रिफ्लेक्ट इन द गुड कंपनीज आर ग्रोइंग, है ना. तो इसलिए अगले जो 5 साल 7 साल 10 साल जो विजिबल टाइम लगता है, दैट इज अ टाइम फॉर द इक्विटीज. और जब हम इकोनॉमी इज शिफ्टिंग फ्रॉम अ सेविंग ओरिएंटेड इकोनॉमी टू अ इन्वेस्टमेंट ओरिएंटेड इकोनॉमी, ये मतलब पीसी मेला नॉविस ने जब बजट प्रेजेंट किया 40s 50s में, है ना, तो उन्होंने था भी यार हमें कंट्री को आगे लेके जाना है, इसलिए सेविंग की जरूरत है, इसलिए सेविंग को बढ़ाओ. क्योंकि उस वक्त गवर्नमेंट जो है पीएसयू नई कंपनी सेटअप की, उसमें भिलाई में, रुड़केला में स्टील प्लांट लगाए जहां पे ज्यादा लोगों को एम्प्लॉयमेंट मिलती है. बट आज जो इकोनॉमी है 91 ऑनवर्ड, जब से हमने लिबरलाइजेशन, प्राइवेटाइजेशन, ग्लोबलाइजेशन शुरू किया 91 ऑनवर्ड, उस वक्त वी आर स्लोली एंड ग्रेजुअली मूविंग टू अ इन्वेस्टमेंट ओरिएंटेड इकोनॉमी. गवर्नमेंट कहती है मेरा काम गवर्नेंस का है, मेरा काम बिजनेस रन करने का नहीं है. अगर गवर्नमेंट सेविंग से, अगर गवर्नमेंट को अभी आपके पैसे की जरूरत नहीं है, गवर्नमेंट कहती है आप इन्वेस्ट कीजिए पैसे को. अगर गवर्नमेंट मूव कर रही है तो एज ए इंडिविजुअल इट इज अवर रिस्पॉन्स, इट इज ओनस ऑन अस आल्सो. If we really want to make money, if we really want to be a financially secured, we move from saving to a investment. That is very, very important. And investment is not only the mutual fund, investment in the equities, in the businesses and all that. So that will be the that will be the opportunity for all of us. And we are fortunate that we are there, which we are seeing the India to grow. And अगर हमने इसका benefit नहीं लिया ना, तो probably the next generation में ये हमारे पापा ने, हमारी मदर ने वो कुछ अच्छी तरह से इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं किया है ना. तो इसलिए वी शुड स्टार्ट लुकिंग इनटू दिस इक्विटी मार्केट इन्वेस्टमेंट एंड स्टार्ट नोइंग इट, है ना. जानने, आप जानेंगे तभी इसको मानेंगे. अगर जानने की कोशिश नहीं करेंगे तो इसको मानेंगे भी नहीं. हमको यही लगता रहेगा यार इक्विटी मार्केट या म्यूचुअल फंड ये तो सब फ्रॉड है. तो इसलिए अगर किसी को मानना है तो पहले उसको जानना शुरू करो. जानेंगे तो आपको लगेगा इतना अच्छा प्रोडक्ट है यार, है ना, ये भी इसमें बेनिफिट है. तो पहले जानिए फिर मानिए.
यस, वेरी ट्रू सर. तो सर गवर्नमेंट जब एनकरेज करना चाहती है इन्वेस्टमेंट मार्केट, हम फाइनेंशियल मार्केट में इन्वेस्ट करें, तो टैक्स लगाना ही नहीं चाहिए था. लॉन्ग टर्म पे उससे ज्यादा अच्छा था, डिविडेंड भी नहीं लगाना चाहिए था.
आपने बेनिफिट लिया ही नहीं.
नहीं सर, मैंने तो लिया, लेकिन तब मजा आता था. वो टैक्स फ्री होता था 1 साल के बाद.
हाँ.
और अब जो है वो टैक्स लग जाता है. सो डिस्करेजिंग है थोड़ा सा.
Sir, if possible, if you could show us the actual buying of mutual funds.
Actually,
Directly buying.
हाँ.
If possible.
छोटा सा एक क्वेश्चन और मेरा, प्लीज, whenever you feel comfortable you can, like इंश्योरेंस प्रोडक्ट्स पे बहुत बेचते हैं, लाइक म्यूचुअल फंड्स वर्सेस जो सेक्शन 10(10)(d) कह के बेचते हैं ये इंश्योरेंस के प्रोडक्ट. तो मतलब माय ऑब्जेक्टिव इज नॉट टू गो फॉर द इंश्योरेंस, लेकिन वो कहते हैं इसमें इंश्योरेंस इसलिए ऐड किया हुआ है जस्ट कि आपका जो है गेन्स जो है टैक्स फ्री होंगे whenever the agent is selling. So are they good, or should I go for the mutual fund products, purely mutual fund
There are
products?
two things. जिंदगी में दो रिस्क सबसे बड़े हैं. One is living too short and one is living too long. Living too short, suppose मेरी उम्र suppose 30 साल की है ना, और I am the only earning member. If something happened to me, है ना, suppose मेरे बच्चे 2 साल का है, 4 साल का, 5 साल का बच्चा है मेरा, and my wife is there. If something happened to me, then what will happen to my wife and my children? है ना, that is living too short. वो that is the biggest risk. उसको हमें कवर करना चाहिए. And
लेकिन सर एजेंट्स है ना, इतनी सारी स्कीम्स वही बेच देते हैं, तो ओवर इंश्योर्ड भी हो जाते हैं हम.
Let me come to the.
Sorry.
हाँ, so उसके लिए we have to go for a term plan, है ना, अपने रिस्क को कवर करने के लिए. The second is living too long. आपकी 60 साल तक की जॉब है, अगर आपकी एवरेज एज जैसे लोगों बढ़ रही है, आपकी 90 ईयर की एज हो गई, आपने 25 साल 30 साल नौकरी की है, क्या आपने जो 25-30 साल में कमाया है, जो इकट्ठा किया, वेदर दैट इज सफिशिएंट टू सपोर्ट यू फॉर नेक्स्ट 30 ईयर. तो इसलिए वी हैव टू इन्वेस्ट our money in such a way, such a fashion, so that we are able to get a inflation proof return. Or inflation proof return if you want to get, so that can only happen in the equities only, है ना. So equity में लोग कहते नहीं, equity में तो रिस्क है जी. तो मैं उनको बोलता हूँ, अगर इक्विटी में आपका पैसा नहीं बनता है, रिस्क है आपका, आपको लगता है, तो जो पैसा आपका फिक्स डिपॉजिट में पड़ा है, दैट इज ऑल्सो नॉट सेफ. जो फिक्स डिपॉजिट की गारंटी है ना, इक्विटी मार्केट है फिक्स डिपॉजिट की गारंटी. कैसे? अगर आप सपोज किसी बैंक में एफडी फिक्स डिपॉजिट करते हैं, आप स्टेट बैंक में या किसी और बैंक में, और वो स्टेट बैंक अपनी तिजोरी में तो नहीं रखता ना उस पैसे को, सो दे विल गिव इट लोन टू सम बैंक, किसी बैंक को नहीं, किसी कॉर्पोरेट को लोन देगा। आपने एफडी 7% पे कराई, स्टेट बैंक ने आगे लोन 10% पे दिया, है ना, और जिस कंपनी को लोन 10% पे दिया, अगर वो 11% कमाएगी तभी आपको पैसा वापस आएगा ना बैंक के पास।
यस सर।
ठीक है ना, तो इसलिए अगर वो कॉर्पोरेट्स कमाते हैं तभी बैंक के पास पैसा वापस आता है, तभी आपको एफडी पे रिटर्न मिलेगा। अगर वो कॉर्पोरेट नहीं कमाएगा, है ना, तो कभी ना कभी अगर वो कॉर्पोरेट 9% कमा रहा है, 10% बैंक को दे रहा है, तो 2 साल बाद, 3 साल बाद, 5 साल बाद, 7 साल बाद वो चैलेंज हो ही जाएगा ना उस कंपनी में।
यस सर।
तो इसलिए आपकी फिक्स डिपॉजिट की गारंटी इक्विटी मार्केट है ना, इक्विटी मार्केट, स्टॉक मार्केट, कॉर्पोरेट, है ना, वो गारंटी है आपकी। अगर वो नहीं चले तो आपका पैसा जो फिक्स डिपॉजिट में, दैट इज ऑल्सो नॉट सेफ। तो इक्विटी इन एनी केस विल गिव यू अ बेटर रिटर्न देन फिक्स डिपॉजिट। और कितनी रिटर्न हमें इक्विटी से एक्सपेक्ट करनी चाहिए? दैट इज अ जीडीपी प्लस इन्फ्लेशन प्लस 1 or 2% फंड मैनेजर कैपेबिलिटी। जीडीपी, सपोज कंट्री का जीडीपी 7% से ग्रो कर रहा है, इन्फ्लेशन 5% है, और 1 or 2% फंड मैनेजर कैपेबिलिटी, है ना, तो ये 7 + 5 12, 7 + 5 12 प्लस 1 or 2% फंड में 13-14% की रिटर्न यू कैन एक्सपेक्ट फ्रॉम द इक्विटीज। अगर कल को जीडीपी कम हो गई, सपोज जीडीपी 3% का हो गया, इन्फ्लेशन 2% का हो गया, 5 और 1%, तो आपको रिटर्न एक्सपेक्टेशन शुड बी 6-7%. It should not be 14% on year basis. So that is how the equity market. अब अगर आप पिछले 30 साल 40 साल की हिस्ट्री देख लेंगे, इसी फॉर्मूले को लेके इक्विटी मार्केट ने रिटर्न दिया है। 79 वाज द बीएसई का बेस ईयर है 100, और आज हर्षल मेहता, केतन पारक, यूटीआई स्कैम, लेमन ब्रदर्स, इन सब, कोरोना क्राइसिस, यूक्रेन वॉर और ईरान वॉर, इराक वॉर, सबके बाद ये जो इंडेक्स है ना, दैट इज अराउंड 57,000 58,000, मतलब 570 गुना पैसा बढ़ा है। जो ने 100 रुपीज लगाया उसकी वैल्यू 57,000 58,000 है।
यस सर।
है ना, अगर डिस्काउंट करेंगे तो इट कम टू 16% CAGR रिटर्न, व्हिच इज अ फिनोमिनल।
यस सर।
है ना, सो बट जिसने लगाया उसी ने पाया।
यस सर। ऑसम सर। सर आपके प्रैक्टिकल पॉइंट्स बहुत अच्छे लग रहे हैं, अदरवाइज तो मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम जो थ्योरेटिकल डिस्कशन हो जाता है ना सर, सो आई रियली अप्रिशिएट योर दीज टिप्स एंड द प्रैक्टिकल टिप्स टू एनालाइज थिंग्स। वंडरफुल सर, थैंक यू।
सर कैसे डिसाइड करेंगे कि शेयर को कब बेचना है? मतलब अगर आपने शेयर मार्केट में डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्ट किया है, so how you decide?
Sir, sorry to interrupt in between, but we have received various questions related to entry and exit in the market. Because when we started with the financial literacy, it is a very popular question and frequently asked question by everyone, that when it is the perfect time to enter and when it is the perfect time to exit from the market.
हाँ, देखिए, जो इक्विटी मार्केट में आप स्टॉक, इंडिविजुअल स्टॉक में बाय करते हैं ना, उसके लिए एंट्री एंड एग्जिट इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट, है ना। किस भाव पे शेयर खरीद रहे हैं और किस भाव पे उसको सेल करना है, और उसको डिसाइड करने के लिए उस कंपनी की बैलेंस शीट, कंपनी के कॉम्पिटिटर की बैलेंस शीट, कंपनी की मैनेजमेंट के बारे में, गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसीज के बारे में, इस सब को अंडरस्टैंड करके वो निकलता है। मतलब
सर अडानी शेयर सब खरीदने चाहिए?
देखिए, अडानी किसी भी फंड हाउस के पोर्टफोलियो में नहीं है, नॉट एसबीआई म्यूचुअल फंड, किसी भी एक्टिवली मैनेज जो फंड, बड़े फंड हाउसेस है।
LIC में भी नहीं है सर?
हाँ जी,
LIC में भी नहीं है?
नहीं, LIC तो इंश्योरेंस कंपनी है ना।
हाँ जी,
है ना, LIC तो इंश्योरेंस बिजनेस है, बट किसी भी इंडियन म्यूचुअल फंड के पास सब्सटेंशियल होल्डिंग जो है अडानी की नहीं है। उनको लगता है कि जो अडानी का स्टॉक प्राइस चल रहा है ना, दैट इज अहेड ऑफ देयर अर्निंग।
यस।
इसलिए किसी भी म्यूचुअल फंड में का एक्सपोजर अडानी में नहीं था। SBI का ही नहीं है, HDFC का भी नहीं, ICICI का भी नहीं, है ना, एक्सिस का भी नहीं, और जो बड़े
डायरेक्ट परचेज करने हो तो अभी 1500 के आसपास है।
देखो, किसी भी की ना, ये जो स्टॉक मार्केट है ना, ये जो है चक्रव्यूह है, ये, है ना। इसमें अभिमन्यु को जाना तो आता है, वापस आना भी उतना इंपॉर्टेंट है। ठीक है ना, आज हो सकता है उसका रेट अट्रैक्टिव हो, है ना, बट निकलना कब है, दैट इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट।
यस सर,
both should be right. Only then you can make the money in direct equities.
Yes, sir.
और वो वापस आने का आप कैसे डिसाइड करेंगे? मतलब आपने पैसा लगा दिया,
हाँ,
राइट, शेयर में, और फिर आपको भी पैसे की जरूरत नहीं है, 7 ईयर हो गए, 10 ईयर्स हो गए, द शेयर इज ग्रोइंग, बट कैसे डिसाइड करेंगे कि किस पॉइंट पे उसे सेल करना है? If you
हाँ, नहीं,
don't
मैंने वही कहा ना, हम जैसे आप पढ़ाते भी होंगे, फंडामेंटल एनालिसिस करते हैं हम, इकोनॉमिक एनालिसिस, इंडस्ट्री एनालिसिस, कंपनी एनालिसिस, फिर कंपनी की बैलेंस शीट एनालिसिस, कॉम्पिटिटर एनालिसिस। अगर हम ये सब कुछ कर सकते हैं, ओनली देन वी शुड एंटर इनटू अ स्टॉक, और उस बिजनेस में एंटर कर, उस स्टॉक में व्हेन यू आर बाइंग अ स्टॉक ना, यू आर बाइंग अ बिजनेस, है ना। अगर आपको उस बिजनेस की निटी-ग्रिटीज के बारे में पता है, देन यू कैन डिसाइड, है ना। मैं आपको एक क्वेश्चन पूछता हूं, आप बताइए जी, 90s में, 90s, अर्ली 1992, 93, 94, which was the biggest pharmaceutical company of India? Biggest pharmaceutical company. Any guess? हाँ जी, Ranbaxy और any other guess?
सर कोई डॉक्टर नेम से कुछ है ध्यान में?
Reddy.
हाँ, डॉक्टर रेड्डी।
डॉक्टर एबॉट क्या?
डॉक्टर अबाउट
हाँ जी,
डॉक्टर रेड्डी।
हाँ, नहीं, उस कंपनी का नाम था अंबालाल साराभाई।
तो हमने तो सुना भी नहीं।
हाँ हाँ, तो दैट वाज वही ना, लोग भूल जाते हैं यार। अंबालाल साराभाई वाज द बिगेस्ट फार्मास्यूटिकल कंपनी 90s, बट आज की डेट में एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं कर रही, है ना। जो स्टॉक मार्केट बड़े बिजनेसेस हैं, भीलवाड़ा ग्रुप वाज वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट ग्रुप, बीएसई में पार्ट होता था भीलवाड़ा ग्रुप, है ना। तो जो बिजनेस है ना, दे आर आल्सो सनराइजिंग एंड सनसेट इंडस्ट्रीज। हमें सनसेट, सपोज आप आज से 20 साल पहले, 20 साल पहले तो नहीं, 20 साल पहले तो हमारी शादी भी हो गई, जब हमारे फादर की शादी हुई 40 साल पहले, शायद, तो जब शादी होती थी तो उसको सिलाई मशीन देते थे जनरली, है ना। तो तब वो, और उस वक्त जो सिलाई मशीन की इंडस्ट्री, दैट वाज अ सन राइजिंग इंडस्ट्री, है ना। और जब हमारी शादी हुई आज से 25 साल पहले, है ना, तो सिलाई मशीन का चलन ही नहीं, खत्म हो गया था वहां पे। शादी में सिलाई मशीन नहीं मिली, कुछ और मिल गया होगा, है ना। तो मतलब आज की डेट में कितने घरों में सिलाई मशीन है? अब यहाँ पे जो बैठे हुए हैं सब लोग,
तो शादी की रखी है यूजलेस।
हाँ, यूजलेस रखी ना। बट अगर आपने आपकी कोई छोटी सिस्टर की शादी होनी हो अभी, या कोई किसी की बेटी की शादी होनी, कोई सिलाई मशीन देता है उसको शादी में भी?
घर में रखने की जगह भी नहीं होती उसकी।
नहीं देता ना, वो खत्म हो गई इंडस्ट्री, है ना। जो सिलाई मशीन बनाती हुई कंपनी है, उनका आज कोई नाम नहीं लेता, है ना। दैट इज अ सनसेट इंडस्ट्रीज, है ना। तो इसलिए वो कंटिन्यूसली हमें इन्वॉल्व रहना पड़ेगा। कौन से बिजनेसेस है जो आने वाले टाइम में बड़े होएंगे, बड़े, है ना, जिनके लिए अपॉर्चुनिटी बड़ी होगी, और कौन से बिजनेस है जो आने वाले 10 साल बाद सस्टेनेबिलिटी नहीं होगी, जिनकी जो सस्टेन नहीं कर पाएंगे, क्योंकि चेंज इज ए कांस्टेंट। अगर कंपनी अपने आप को रीइन्वेंट नहीं करती है, टाइम के साथ चेंज नहीं करती है, देन उसका भी विनाश पक्का है, उसका भी खत्म होना पक्का है। इसलिए किसी स्टॉक में आप पैसे लगा के भूल जाएंगे तो हो सकता है पैसा आपको कंपनी ऊपर जाके फिर नीचे आ जाए। तो इसलिए उसमें दोनों पॉइंट, एंट्री पॉइंट और एग्जिट पॉइंट, दैट शुड बी वेरी वेरी राइट, और उसके लिए आपको समय और समझ दोनों की जरूरत है। अगर है तभी कर सकते, अदरवाइज आपके लिए एक ऑप्शन है, दैट इज अ म्यूचुअल फंड। किसी भी म्यूचुअल फंड की डिवर्सिफाइड फंड में पैसा लगा लीजिए लंबे समय के लिए, फिल इट, शट इट एंड फॉरगेट इट। वो आपके लिए पैसा बना के ही देगा, है ना। उसकी रिटर्न कम ज्यादा हो सकती है कि जो बढ़िया म्यूचुअल फंड है उसने 15% का रिटर्न दिया, आपके म्यूचुअल फंड ने 13% का रिटर्न दिया, बट ये नहीं होगा डिवर्सिफाइड फंड भी आपको उसने 2% का रिटर्न दिया, ऐसा नहीं होगा। किसी भी फंड हाउस, मैं स्टेट बैंक की बात नहीं कर रहा, किसी भी फंड हाउस जिसकी स्कीम का ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड 15 साल 20 साल का है, आप निकाल के देख लीजिए। जो सबसे बढ़िया फंड स्कीम होगी उसने हो सकता है 16% की रिटर्न दी, जो सबसे वर्स्ट स्कीम होगी उसने हो सकता है 12% की रिटर्न दी हो। Even then that is better ना, 12% is better than 6% which you are putting in fixed deposit.
Yes sir.
है ना। बट लगाइए। मल्टी कैप फंड क्या होते हैं? मुक्ति कैप फंड नहीं, मल्टी कैप फंड। मल्टी कैप Cap stand for capitalization. Capitalization is number of share multiply by share price, है ना? शेयर्स को कितनी कंपनी ने कितने नंबर ऑफ शेयर इशू किए हैं. सपोज किसी कंपनी ने 1 करोड़ शेयर है उसके और एक शेयर का प्राइस 100 रुपया है, तो उसकी मार्केट कैपिटलाइजेशन होगी 100 करोड़. ठीक है ना? 1 करोड़ शेयर मल्टीप्लाई बाय 100 रुपया जो उसका स्टॉक का प्राइस है. तो इसी तरह सेबी ने भी कैटेगराइजेशन किया है. तो जो टॉप 100 स्टॉक है उसको लार्ज कैप कहते हैं एज पर मार्केट कैपिटलाइजेशन. जो 100 से लेके 101 से लेके 250 तक है उसको कहते हैं मिड कैप स्टॉक्स. और 250 स्टॉक से नीचे जितने भी स्टॉक हैं उनको बोलते हैं स्मॉल कैप स्टॉक. और वो फंड जो 25% लार्ज कैप, 25% मिड कैप, 25% स्मॉल कैप में लगाता है, 75% हो गया ना, बाकी 25% फंड मैनेजर की कैपेबिलिटी, फंड मैनेजर की डिस्क्रिशन, है ना, लार्ज मिड या स्मॉल में लगाए, ऐसे फंड को मल्टी कैप फंड कहते हैं. मल्टी कैप फंड इज अ गुड फंड टू स्टार्ट विद. डिवर्सिफाइड फंड, मल्टी कैप फंड, है ना, लार्ज एंड मिड कैप फंड या मल्टी कैप फंड या लार्ज कैप फंड या इंडेक्स फंड, है ना. अगर इन फंड में अगर हम स्टार्ट करना चाहते हैं म्यूचुअल फंड में इन्वेस्ट करना, तो इनमें लगाइए, फिल इट, शट इट एंड फॉरगेट इट, द मनी विल बी देयर.
So sir, sector fund will be
Nowadays
very
there are
risky.
different. So nowadays there are different options which are given for switches, like 6 switches in a year or 3 switches in a year.
वो सिर्फ इंश्योरेंस कंपनी देती है, किसी म्यूचुअल फंड में नहीं. म्यूचुअल फंड में आप
Because I was just wondering, otherwise it might change the nature of the fund as well. Like it might be an equity fund, and if the switches are allowed, it might change the nature of the fund from the equity to the debt. So I believe that is the answer you said. It's only in the insurance product when it is clubbed.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
चलिए, थैंक यू वेरी मच टू ऑल ऑफ यू फॉर पेशेंस हियरिंग, मुझे बर्दाश्त करने के लिए, है ना. वी विल
Very interactive session. Really appreciate. Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू डॉक्टर प्रतिभा.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining with us today. I appreciate the way you explained all the policies and the taxation related queries. Thank you so much for your great experience and wonderful session, sir.
Thank you. Can I log out?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Dr. Pratibha, second की attendance आ गई है?
Ma'am, we will share the attendance form for validatory session directly.
Or at 5
between
o'clock?
5 to 5. Yes, ma'am. Between 5 to 5:30.
Okay, thank you so much.
So there is a short break. We will join back at 5. I request you all to join 5 minutes before so that we can continue. Till then, please be here with the same link, because after discontinuing, it may be possible that you may not be able to log in again. So thank you so much. We will be back sharp at 5.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, namaste.
Good evening.
नमस्कार अमित जी, नमस्कार।
Namaskar, sir. Namaskar, sir. Good evening, sir.
नमस्कार सिंह साहब।
Sir, Professor
Namaskar,
KP Singh,
Professor
sir,
KP
joined.
Singh साहब जी, नमस्ते.
नमस्कार न्यूली अपॉइंटेड डायरेक्टर प्रोफेसर रॉय।
नमस्कार नमस्कार।
संजय जी, नमस्कार.
संजय जी, नमस्कार.
नमस्कार सर, नमस्कार। Actually, sir, I'm in a selection. एक सिलेक्शन में है, तो फिजिकली तो नहीं है, बस जस्ट मोबाइल में है। कैरी ऑन सर।
हाँ, you start, Dr. Rohit, start.
So good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Rohit Kumar Srivastava from Department of Commerce. I am going to now take this ability session forward because of the fact that Dr. Pratibha Maurya ma'am was not able to continue due to some sort of reasons. So now I welcome you all in this ability session. I deem it as a great honor to welcome the chief guest of the program, Professor KP Singh sir, Dean of Colleges, University of Delhi. Professor KP Singh sir, the professor at the Department of Library and Information Sciences, Director Gandhi Bhavan, and Provost PG Men's Hostel of University of Delhi. Professor Ajay Kumar Singh sir, Senior Professor, Head and Dean, Department of Commerce, Faculty of Commerce and Business, University of Delhi. Next, we have an honorable presence from the Institute of Lifelong Learning, Professor Sanjay Roy, Director, ILLL, University of Delhi. Professor Yukti Sharma, Joint Director and Academic Secretary from ILLL, University of Delhi. We also have the presence of Professor Amit Kumar Singh sir, Professor and Convener from the Department of Commerce, University of Delhi, and the convener of this 5-day short-term program. So I welcome you all in this ability session. So first of all, I would like to invite Professor Amit Kumar Singh sir, the convener of this 5-day short-term program. Let me introduce everyone again about Professor Amit Kumar Singh sir. Professor Amit Kumar Singh is professor at the Department of Commerce, Delhi School of Economics, University of Delhi. He obtained his MCom, MPhil and PhD degrees from University of Delhi and was a gold medalist in MCom. With a teaching experience of over 20 years, Professor Singh specializes in the field of finance and investment management, particularly IPO markets. He is a life member of the Indian Accounting Association and Indian Commerce Association, and has also been elected as Vice President of Delhi Chapter of Indian Commerce Association recently. He is also honored as IIF Research Professor Award 2021 for his unparalleled contribution in the field of commerce. He has co-authored 5 books and has more than 90 research papers and articles published in reputed national and international journals. He has written many papers on IPOs and won numerous Best Paper Awards. He is a member of Editorial Board, Research in Business Management, Mudra Journal of Business Studies, Indian Journal of Research in Capital Market, Odisha Journal of Commerce and Business, and Indian Journal of Finance. So we welcome you, sir, in this validity program. So I would request you to please share a few words amongst all of us.
Thank you, Dr. Rohit, for the nice introduction. Very good evening to one and all who are present here. Professor KP Singh sir, our today's chief guest of this session. Senior Professor Ajay Kumar Singh sir, Head and Dean, Department of Commerce, Faculty of Commerce and Business. Professor Sanjay Roy ji, Director, ILLL. Professor Yukti Sharma, Institute of Lifelong Learning. Dr. Rohit Kumar Srivastava. Faculty members, research scholars, the participants from different parts of University of Delhi, and I know some from outside University of Delhi also. And dear friends, it's a great honor and privilege for me to be asked to speak on this occasion. I'm extremely thankful to Department of Commerce, of course, our Head Dean, sir, Professor Ajay Kumar Singh, sir, and of course, ILL and Association of Mutual Fund India for giving me this opportunity to share a space with you all. Friends, as you know, at the outset, I would like to say that financial literacy program, which was started on 30th of January, it's a beginning of starting the course which was implemented by the University of Delhi in the form of VAC, Valued Course. In VAC, University of Delhi has started the financial literacy paper for the first time for the first semester of the students of University of Delhi. And after that, we have just carried forward that thing and we have started the first short-term course of financial literacy program. As we know that it's just a starting step, because if we see the data of financial literacy all over the India, it's very low. But as somewhere we have to start, and we have started in the form of this 5-day short-term literacy course. And I have seen the very good participation from all the teachers of University of Delhi, and they have attended the course on a regular basis. Each one of you has participated in a very good manner. So I'm very, very thankful to all the participants who has taken the initiative and also shows the interest in understanding the basic concepts of financial literacy program. I'm also thankful to Association of Mutual Fund India, of course, Shri Suryakant Sharma ji, who has collaborated with us, and also ILLL, of course, Professor Sanjay Roy ji, who has given this platform to do this financial literacy program. And I hope that this program will continue in the future. Also, we will come out with some new programs on new themes of financial literacy, because this is the basic program, I can say, where we emphasize more on basic concepts of financial literacy. As you know that in the initial stage, when an investor comes out for investing, generally they go for conventional forms. They go for PPF, RD, and all these things. And I am very beautifully explained by our first speaker of the day on 30th, Dr. R.P. Tulsianji, when he talked about that you should go for investment in bonds or gold, or you go for investment in RDs, PPF, Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana. Then you have National Citizen Certificate, Kisan Vikas Patra. And of course, recently when the budget has been presented day before yesterday, thing has been changed. Now, same with that we have to change our investment pattern also. Earlier, we used to invest in conventional form, but there are now new instruments are coming up in the form of REITs, InvITs, ETF, some new sort of mutual funds. So definitely, we have to change our investment pattern also. For that, we always try, Department of Commerce is always in a mood that we should introduce some new things. And I'm very, very thankful to our Head Dean, sir, Professor Ajay Kumar Singh, sir, who has introduced some new research papers in our UGCF course also. In finance course, you see that we have introduced very new papers in finance, which are cater the need of the students from the basic to the higher level. We have studied the concept of financial modeling also. We have introduced a paper of IFM. We have introduced a paper of financial literacy, finance for everyone. So department has always taken the initiative of giving new things to the teachers and also to the students also. So once again, I'm thankful to ILLL and of course Department of Commerce. I also want to tell you that we have around 240 registration for this program, more than 240 registration in the form of teaching and non-teaching, and not from Delhi, but also from outside the Delhi also. But this time we have just stick to the University of Delhi teachers and of course teaching, non-teaching. But in the future also we try to start do the program for outside Delhi also. So it's and of course around 90 to 100 participants are there for every day for each session. So this is also very great. So thank you once again. I am thankful to our Head Dean, sir, Professor Ajay Kumar Singh, sir, who has given me this opportunity to to lead this program. Thankful to Professor Sanjay Roy ji, who has given us this platform. and who is always energetic, and he's always busy, but always try to do the more programs. And we definitely, Sanjay ji, tell you that we will do more programs with you in the future also. Thank you. And of course, I'm thankful to Professor KP Singh sir, who has agreed to be the chief guest at a very, very short notice. Thank you so much, Professor KP Singh sir, because I know sir is not well also, but he has joined this program at a very short notice. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words and sharing the glimpse of what has been done in this 5-day short-term program on financial literacy. Now, we're moving forward in this military session. We are witnessing the esteemed presence of the patron of this 5-day short-term program and Senior Professor Head and Dean, Professor Ajay Kumar Singh, sir, Head and Dean, Department of Commerce, Faculty of Commerce and Business, Delhi School of Economics, University of Delhi. Now, let me brief about sir. Professor Ajay Kumar Singh, sir, is Senior Professor, Head and Dean, Department of Commerce, Faculty of Commerce and Business, Delhi School of Economics, University of Delhi. Professor Singh is the chairperson of Delhi University Research Council, and formerly he was the Vice Chancellor of Shri Shri University, Cuttack, Odisha. He is also fellow and managing trustee of Indian Commerce Association, former president of associations, Indian Commerce Association, Delhi NCR chapter, Rotary Club of Delhi, Moria, Indian Association for Management Development, and a fellow of Computer Society of India, life member of Bharatiya Section Mandal, Indian Accounting Association, and honorary president of governing body of Divine Group of Institution, DSPSR, and many NGOs. He has earned Best Teacher Award for 2 consecutive years in 1998 and 1999 at IAMT, 9 Best Research Papers, 45 awards of national and other levels, 12 international awards, and many medals and distinctions as well. Professor Singh has more than 36 years of teaching experience in all, with more than 200 publications in renowned and leading journals. Under his supervision, 37 scholars have been awarded PhD degree and 17 scholars have been awarded MPhil degree. He has traveled to 23 countries and addressed more than 200 conferences, seminars, workshops, training program, and over 100 webinars during the pandemic. Professor Singh is a blend of a teacher and administrator, researcher, guide, coach, mentor, trainer, consultant, sadhak, yogi, and counselor as well as healer. So we welcome you, sir, in this military session. So I would request you now to please share a few words amongst all of us.
Thank you very much, Apna. Namaste, good evening to all of you. Honorable Chief Guest of today's valedictory session, Professor KP Singh ji, the Honorable Director of Gandhi Peace Foundation, Gandhi Bhavan actually, Professor Sanjay Roy, and Director of ILLL, Institute of Lifelong Learning, Professor Yukti Sharma ji from ILLL, Professor Jyoti from ILLL, Professor Amit Kumar Singh, the coordinator of this program and chairperson of governing body of Gargi College, other members of the organizing team, Dr. Pratibha Maurya, Dr. Rohit Kumar Srivastav, and my dear participants. It's good to see so much of response for this short-term program on financial literacy. Generally, we take it for granted that we know how to manage money or finance. But I'm sure after listening to all the experts, you must have become more wiser in the last 1 week, that you can be confident about how to manage your own finances, personal finance, in a better manner. and how much risk appetite you have, how much risk you can take, how much willingness you have, more or less, I don't know, of taking higher risk for higher returns. And as per the age, the formula may change, or the composition may change, or composition may vary. So it is something which every individual should be taught. As we say, literacy is important for India. I think in the same tone and tenor, we should have financial literacy, as is computer literacy also required. So these are all literacies of different types, which are necessities in today's world. So I'm happy that Department of Commerce is taking lead in organizing different kind of FDPs or short-term programs. Indian Knowledge System was the first one with ILLL. And there is one more which is happening after this, which is in the name of, what do you call? Robotic process automation in business. Robotic process automation in business is the next upcoming program. So I invite all those who would love to be tech savvy in the future, whatever our current state is, but future is of all those teachers who would be migrating themselves to the demands of the future. As we say, the demand of the job roles would be different in the times to come. The world would not remain the same, what it appears to be today. So people have to unlearn and learn new things. So that is what is the need of the hour for faculty members, so that they can train the students, they can educate the students for the cutting edge technology on the one hand, and wisdom of the past. Both the holistic development of students can take place only when we have both. We ride on the front in terms of the cutting edge technology, and having the calmness and coolness and the depth based on our own strength of the personality, based on the wisdom of the past. So I once again congratulate the organizers for making such series of programs for the benefit or for the capacity building exercises for the faculty members of University of Delhi in particular, and in general for other faculty members also. And this was particularly open for both, for faculty members as well as administrative staff members, because this affects everyone. Finance is something which everyone should know. It is like lifeblood of an individual. So it's amazing to see the energy and enthusiasm of the faculty members of the department to carry on these series one after the other. I'm told digital marketing is also being organized as a workshop in Ramjas College in the coming time, and there are many more. So if you have an idea that you want Department of Commerce to organize something which would add value to the profile of the teachers in terms of capacity building, which are the programs of the future, to make you future ready so that you can make your students future ready. So with these words, I stop here. Let us listen to other experts and the Honorable Chief Guest of today, Professor K.P. Singh. So I once again welcome on the behalf of Department of Commerce, Faculty of Commerce and Business, all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Professor Amit, you can invite the next one in the
yeah. Now I invite our Chief Guest of the session, Professor K.P. Singh, sir. Yes, Rohit.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir, for the interruption due to technical problem. I got left out from this. So next we have the honorable presence from the Institute of Lifelong Learning, Professor Sanjay Roy, sir, the Director ILLL. Let me brief everyone about Sir. Professor Sanjay Roy has been advocating for indigenous social work in India, and he is working as professor in the Department of Social Work, University of Delhi. He has more than 20 years in teaching experience at university level and more than 4 years of working experience in the development sector. He has also worked with government institutions like AIMS. He is associated with various research and developmental organizations working at national and international level in the area of social work, research, social justice, and development. Some of his areas of interest are rural and urban development sector and sustainable development, social legislation, exclusion, social justice, human rights, and empowerment for disadvantaged groups. He has gained numerous administrative experience, such as Director, Institute of Lifelong Learning, University of Delhi, Chairman, Bhagavad College, University of Delhi, and other institutions as well in different capacities from time to time. He has guided MPhil and PhD scholars in the department and also in different universities like IGNOU, Amity University, etc. He has published more than 80 articles, research papers published in different refereed journals, books, magazines, and 14 books in national and international publications, Routledge, Atlantic, etc., related to women development, fieldwork, practice, social. He is also associated nationally with many association member with professional bodies, committees, and he is the member of the editorial board for many international and renowned research journals as well. He is also the external expert and examiner of MPhil and PhD of numerous universities across India. Recently, he has contributed module under MHRD Government of India for e-Pathshala on planning and community engagement, scheduled caste and community engagement, scheduled tribe and community engagement. So we welcome you, sir, in this validity session. So now I would request you to please share a few words amongst us.
Thank you, Dr. Rohit. At the beginning, I just tell you that sorry because I'm not in a position to speak more as
I think due to some technical issues, sir is facing. Let's just wait for a few seconds.
sorry. Hello.
Yes, you're audible. Yeah.
Sorry, actually, I'm some place. There's a network problem. Also, I'm not in a position to speak much. Thank you, Commerce Department, especially Professor Ajay sir and Professor Amit Singh for their continuous. I know the way they have organized this meeting is commendable, and so punctually they have completed also. Congratulations to both of you, and especially Commerce Department. And also, I must congratulate dear Professor KP Singh sir, accepting your request to be in the validity session because he is also a very busy man. So thank you, Professor KP Singh also. Also, I must thank you all the participants from different colleges, department who participated the 5 days continuously this workshop. And I'm sure that everybody has got basic understanding about finance management as Professor Ajay Singh was talking about, because finance is a place, finance is a certain thing that we cannot avoid. If I say example, in village, our mothers, how they keep money in the kitchen, in a box, in a inside the box, inside a something like चुरा के रख देते, so they can use. So financial education is important in every way of life. Everybody, whether it is child or is it mother, father, or even professional, everybody has to manage, have to learn how to manage finance. If you manage finance properly, seriously, and professionally, and very systematically, I think the person will be the very well equipped in financial management system. So finance is what you call in Hindi हमारे जिंदगी के साथ मिला हुआ है. इसके अलावा कुछ हम सोच नहीं सकते. तो everybody must know, and I am sure that during these 5 days training program, the participant has understand how and why the finance should be managed, what are the principle, what are the basic theories, what are the purpose, how you can do the financial management in your life to be a better equipped, well equipped. So thank you, Commerce Department, and on behalf of ILLL, I'm sure, and we are ready to do more program on any topic. We are here to help it out. So thank you for calling me, and thank you, Commerce Department. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you so much, Professor Roger. Thank you.
So now I deem it as a great honor to welcome the chief guest of our today's valedictory session, Professor KP Singh, sir. First of all, sir, thank you so much for accepting our invitation and joining us for the program, even if you are not so well today. So let me brief about sir. Professor KP Singh, sir, is currently working as professor at the Department of Library and Information Science. He is also the director of Gandhi Bhavan and provost PG Men's Hostel of University of Delhi. He holds top professional positions, founding presidents, SRFLIS and President, Delhi Library Association. Prior to joining Delhi University, Professor Singh served at DRDO, ICAR, CBI, NIC, CSB, and NBS. He is the first teacher of the department who brought and completed major research projects funded by AR&DB, DRDO, and UGC. Professor Singh is a prolific author, had authored 12 books, 15 edited books, more than 110 research journals, 27 conference papers, 25 book chapters, and 30 plus book reviews. Professor Singh he's also a best known teacher activist in the university. He is the first teacher of the department who elected 2 times consecutively as an academic council member of the University of Delhi. He also served as coordinator of the department. He also holds the top position of 2 professional associations, President SR Foundation for Library and Information Sciences and General Secretary of Delhi Library Association. And above than that, he is the best teacher as well as a multifaceted personality. So we welcome you, sir, in this valedictory session. And now I would request you to please enlighten us with your kind words.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rohit Ji, for such a wonderful introduction. Listening such a wonderful introduction, really a pleasure, but it also creates some problems. Because when you are not the expectations, what read about you or introduced about the audience, I think it could only be justifiable when you deliver some content which is relevant for him. First of all, let me extend my badhai to Department of Commerce and its counterparts, collaborate institutes, ILLL, and Association for Mutual Funds in India for organizing this a very pertinent 5-day short-term program on financial literacy to the teachers, teaching faculty, and non-teaching staff of Delhi University. My special thanks and badhai to one of the vibrant Department of Delhi Universities, Department of Commerce, Delhi School of Economics, led by a very great man, tall and great in all context. Professor Ajay Kumar Singh ji, who has vibrant his team and department, especially in this century celebrations of Delhi universities. I find every week a new programs either in the Delhi University premises or any college of Delhi universities by the Commerce Department. So congratulate you, Professor Singh, and another Singh who is very near to my heart. His name is already Amit. He is very hardworking.
Thank you, sir.
And a very, I think, persuasive personality. I was not in position to speak today's on these platforms because I am down with the viral. But when I heard that this is in online, then I said no. And my dear fellow participant, you are listening since last 5 days from the various heavyweight and meaningful terms or concept related to the financial literacy, as your expert has shared on various lectures, personal finance management, Sukanya Samriddhi, Jan Dhan Yojana, ETF, FD benefits, demat accounts, best practices in the investment, taxation, security market, GPF, SIP, mutual funds. One must understand. And I think from this, after doing this course, what you are carrying, all we are the educated persons. I'm sure that many faculties from the various colleges and department also participated in this program. So there is no doubt that we are not educated. We all are educated. Why we need arise to literate about the financial matters? My dear friends, you are carrying here. One is the certificate signed by your directors or the course coordinators, which may be helpful for promotions or some other sort of assignments. But for me, you are carrying the experiences. You are carrying the advices or skills which you learn from the different experts on the various dimensions of financial literacy. And I'm sure that when the financial literacy terms coined by Roman L. Will, and what he stated it is a set of skills and knowledge that allow to individual to make informed and effective decisions with all of their financial resources. There is a thin line between the education and literacy, because the education talk about the holistic development of a person's with regard to its knowledge, intellect, behavior, skills, morals, values, and sensibility. Whereas literacy refers to the person's ability to write, read, communicate. So why this need arise? Actually, today's we are heavily dependent on ICT technology, and we all are academic or even the workforce is controlled by technology. How to use this technology in financial management? So this financial, I will share few my own experience. I am not a subject of commerce, but I am a very systematic investors or management or manager of my resources, particularly financial resources. Because we learn the financial resource management from our Indian knowledge systems, especially from our grandmother, the mothers, the grandmothers, and take example from our Indian knowledge systems. पहला तो सिद्धांत है कि कभी भी entire finance don't store or don't keep at one place. This is the fundament. आप उसको segregate करके छोटे छोटे places पे रखिए. Now the questions, if you have a finance, how to distribute, how to invest it. और जब आप इन्वेस्टमेंट की बात करें तो बहुत सारी आपने बात करी होंगी. मैं सिर्फ दो ही चीजों की आपकी बात करना चाहता हूं फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी पर. एक तो अज्ञानता और लालच. बिकॉज आज की डेट में हमारा मैक्सिमम ट्रांजैक्शन इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली. Within a fraction of second, your transaction is executed. आज हम इंटरनेट पे अपना अकाउंट एक्सेस करते हैं, ईमेल के थ्रू एक्सेस करते हैं, एंड वी आर आल्सो एक्सेसिंग अवर अकाउंट्स एंड ट्रांजैक्शंस थ्रू आवर मोबाइल फोन्स, क्रेडिट कार्ड्स, डेबिट कार्ड्स. मैं कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट बातें बेसिकली हम कैसे जो आपका इंटरनेट फ्रॉड है, जो फाइनेंशियल फ्रॉड्स हैं, जब कोई भी कल्चर, जब हमारी टेक्नोलॉजी आई है तो अपने साथ साथ डीमेरिट्स भी लेके आई है. हमें उन चीजों को चेक एंड बैलेंस करना है. और जब हम उन चीजों को चेक एंड बैलेंस कर पाएंगे और करते हैं और एजुकेट करते रहेंगे सच्चे मायनों में कि जो आपका 5 डेज का ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम है, कुछ ना कुछ आप फाइनेंशियली लिटरेट हुए हैं. यू आर ऑलरेडी एजुकेटेड, बट यू आर लिटरेट हाउ टू यूज आवर फाइनेंस, how to save our savings or the accounts or the amount which is stored in our account from the frauds. 3-4 चीजें मोटी मोटी बातें याद रखने की. ज्ञानता एक दूसरी तरफ है कि मेरी इग्नोरेंस है कि मुझे नहीं पता है. हम इग्नोरेंस को रिमूव करने के लिए सच प्रोग्राम्स आर वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, और शायद उसी का एक एंडीवियर है. लेकिन लालच में हम लोग कहीं ना कहीं साइबर फ्रॉड हो जाते हैं, फाइनेंशियल फ्रॉड हो जाते हैं. 3-4 मोटी मोटी बातें आपको ही ध्यान नहीं रखनी है. आपके घर में जो भी आपका फाइनेंशियल ट्रांजैक्शन, चाहे वो एटीएम से करते हैं, चाहे नेट बैंकिंग से करते हैं, चाहे आपके यूपीआई पे करते हैं, उसको सावधानी रखना है. एक तो आजकल बहुत देखते होंगे कि आपके पास व्हाट्सएप मैसेज, ईमेल मैसेज डेली आपके बॉक्स में आते रहते हैं. एश्योर्ड अप्रूवल ऑफ क्रेडिट कार्ड और लोन. मत ओपन करिए, बिल्कुल भी ओपन मत करिए. बहुत सारे आपके ऐसे से एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटी, एजुकेशन अपॉर्चुनिटीज के मैसेजेस, लॉटरी स्कैम्स, और सबसे जो इंपॉर्टेंट है फिशिंग. आज की डेट में फिशिंग इज ए काइंड ऑफ साइबर फ्रॉड टू एक्सेस योर कॉन्फिडेंशियल डिटेल्स. जैसे आपका डेट ऑफ बर्थ है, क्रेडिट कार्ड है, नंबर है, पेमेंट है, आधार कार्ड है, और आपको जो फ्री की जो चीजें, आपको बहुत सारे ऐसे से कि फ्री वैकेशन ट्रिप्स, फ्री रेस्टोरेंट टिकट्स, इन सब चीजों पे प्लीज विश्वास मत करिए. क्योंकि मेरा ये मानना है आज के इस भौतिकवादी युग में कोई भी चीज फ्री नहीं है. इवन लोग तो फ्री में अपनी स्माइल तक नहीं देते हैं, तो आपको ऐसे बेनिफिट कैसे दे सकते हैं? बी वेरी केयरफुल. स्माइल देने में भी लोगों का ना कोई स्वार्थ है. इन सब चीजों से दूर रहिए। और कुछ बातें जो इंपॉर्टेंट है, हम जब फ्री की बात करते हैं ना, हम सभी फेसबुक और एक ट्विटर और सोशल मीडिया पे कनेक्टेड हैं, और वहां पर जब हम अकाउंट क्रिएट करते हैं, वो जो इंफॉर्मेशन मांगते हैं फ्री में, क्योंकि अकाउंट फ्री में है, तो हम दे देते हैं। अपना नाम दे देंगे, बच्चों की इंफॉर्मेशन है वो भी दे देंगे, इवन विलेज एड्रेस, आधार कार्ड, एवरीथिंग हम प्रोवाइड करा देते हैं फ्री में। उतनी ही इंफॉर्मेशन आप अपनी शेयर करें, क्योंकि वो आपकी इंफॉर्मेशन को केयर नहीं कर रहे हैं, वो आपकी इंफॉर्मेशन उनके लिए डेटा है, और उसी डेटा को वो जितने भी ये फ्रॉड कर रहे हैं उसको बेच रहे हैं। और इंडिया का माइंड तो मैं समझता हूं कि इतना लिटरेट माइंड है कि बहुत जल्दी ही हम लिटरेट हो जाते हैं। एक एग्जांपल मैं देता हूं आपको। जब यूपी डिजिटल पेमेंट इनिशिएटिव इंडिया में शुरू हुआ, ह्यूज एंड क्राई पूरे वर्ल्ड, मतलब इंडिया में हुआ, कैसे पेमेंट करेंगे हम अपने मोबाइल फोन से, यूपीआई से, भीम ऐप से कैसे पेमेंट करेंगे, कैसे सब्जी वाला पेमेंट करेगा, कैसे प्रेस वाला, छोटे से छोटे शू मेकर वाला कैसे करेगा। क्या आपको उन्होंने किसी इंस्टीट्यूशन में ट्रेनिंग ली थी? नहीं। आज आप, मैं एग्जांपल देता हूं कि इंडिया वर्ल्ड का सबसे ज्यादा डिजिटल पेमेंट करने वाला कंट्री है। किसी को एजुकेट नहीं किया है, सिर्फ हमें सावधानी रखनी है। और जो हमारा यूपीआई बेस्ड सिस्टम है ना, जिसमें सारा फाइनेंस सिस्टम है, पूरा वर्ल्ड उस सिस्टम का कायल है। तो कभी भी आपको लालच में नहीं पड़ना है। बस हम लोग वहीं पे मतलब कि धोखे में आ जाते हैं जहां लालच होता है। हमेशा याद रखिए, कहीं पे भी कभी भी कोई भी चीज फ्रॉड नहीं मिलती है, फ्री नहीं मिलती है। और जब इसके साथ साथ कुछ सावधानी के, अपना पिन कभी शेयर मत करिए किसी के साथ में। अपना जो भी बहुत सारी चीजें आपके मेल पर, आजकल व्हाट्सएप के थ्रू भी, फेसबुक के थ्रू मतलब अननोन जो डाउनलोड्स आते हैं, मत डाउनलोड करिए, मत उनको क्लिक करिए। इतना फ्रॉड आजकल चल रहा है, रोज कोई ना कोई फ्रॉड उसका शिकार हो जाता है। अननेसेसरी के कॉल्स आते हैं। कुछ भी चीज शेयर मत करिए। जो आपके फोन में नंबर सेव है, नाम रिफ्लेक्ट हो रहा है, सिर्फ उसको भी आप अपनी प्रोफेशनल बातें करिए, क्योंकि आज की डेट में कुछ नहीं पता कौन बोल रहा है। और बहुत सारे प्रपोजल्स आपके फ्रेंडशिप के आपके पास आते रहते हैं मेल के थ्रू, फेसबुक पर, मत एक्सेप्ट करिए। और फेसबुक से मेरी आपसे एक विनम्र निवेदन है, सोशल मीडिया पर सिर्फ आप फेसबुक को या ट्विटर को, इंस्टाग्राम को सिर्फ एकेडमिक और प्रोफेशनल रखिए। पर्सनल उसमें डेटा मत डालिए, क्योंकि उनके पास सारी इंफॉर्मेशन होती है। तो फाइनेंशियल फ्रॉड से बचने का सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट यही है कि आप सिक्योरिटी सिस्टम को पढ़िए, कोई भी चीज एक्सेप्ट मत करते जाइए। और जो आपके पासवर्ड हैं, लॉगिन हैं, उनको फ्रिक्वेंटली चेंज करते रहिए। और पासवर्ड कोई डेट ऑफ बर्थ अपने प्यारे भगवान के नाम पे, बेटा बेटी के नाम पे मत रखिए। कोई ना कोई ऐसा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड कैरेक्टर उसमें डालिए ताकि किसी को ना पता लगे। तो मैं समझता हूं कि अगर आज हम इन सब चीजों को ध्यान रखेंगे, तो फाइनेंशियल जो आपके ट्रांजैक्शंस हो रहे हैं, फाइनेंशियल जो लिटरेसी उसमें कर रही है, भारत सरकार भी इसमें बहुत बड़ी अच्छा योगदान कर रही है। बहुत सारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया हैज टेकन दिस इनिशिएटिव्स, द एनसीएफसी, नेशनल सेंटर फॉर फाइनेंशियल एजुकेशन, जिसमें कि हमारी रेगुलेटरी 4 बॉडी, आरबीआई, सेबी, आईआरडीए और पीएफआरडीए भी बहुत समय समय पर फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी के प्रोग्राम चलाते रहते हैं। इंटरनेशनल लेवल पर ओईसीडी कार्य कर रहे हैं। सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट यही है कि कभी भी आप अपनी पर्सनल चीजों को शेयर मत करिए। और एक इंपॉर्टेंट मैं आपके अनुभव से शेयर कर रहा हूं, जब आप कोई भी एयर टिकट अपने इलेक्ट्रॉनिक गैजेट के थ्रू बुक करते हो, तो एयर टिकट के ऊपर बारकोड होता है। प्लीज आप जो भी इस तरह के टिकट्स हैं उस तरह को आप मत फेंकिए, उसको अच्छी तरह से डिस्ट्रॉय कर दिए, क्योंकि बार कोड के अंदर आपकी सारी बायो इंफॉर्मेशन और कहां से आपने टिकट बुक किया है, किस अकाउंट से किया है, सारे ट्रांजेक्शन्स की उसमें इंफॉर्मेशन होती है। हम कहीं ना कहीं उनको अपनी इंफॉर्मेशन देते रहते हैं। अपनी जो कॉन्फिडेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन है, बैंक से रिलेटेड ट्रांजेक्शन्स की इंफॉर्मेशन है, अकाउंट से रिलेटेड इंफॉर्मेशन है, उसको आप कीप कॉन्फिडेंशियल, डोंट शेयर एनीबॉडी। और आई एम श्योर कि जो फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी है, मुझे उम्मीद है कि एक्सपर्ट के थ्रू जरूर आपकी जो स्किल्स हैं, जो कंपिटेंसी में, उसमें एनहांस हुआ होगा। और इस जो नॉलेज है, जो ये ज्ञान आपने प्राप्त किया है 5 दिन की यात्रा के दौरान, उसे अपने तक सीमित नहीं रखना है। अपने घर में, अपने परिवार में, अपने पड़ोस में, अपने जो नॉन हैं, उनको जरूर आपको एजुकेट करना है। और जब आप उनको एजुकेट करेंगे, वही फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी है, और वही सच्चे मायनों में जो 5 दिन का आपने कोर्स वर्क किया है, तभी वो एडवांटेजियस है। डोंट कीप योर नॉलेज इन योर माइंड्स, spread that knowledge to the others for their mass benefits. Thank you one and all. Time बहुत short है. Thank you Amit ji, thank you Ajay ji. Thanks the ILLL, other associated bodies for giving me this opportunity to speak on this a very I think valuable platforms where the all peoples are related to the finance and commerce and management. और सबसे अच्छा मैनेजमेंट तो यही है कि आप अपने जो माइंड सेट है उसको मैनेज करिए, लालच में मत पड़िए। जब भी आप लालच में पड़ते हैं कि एक के साथ एक फ्री, जीवन में याद रखिए कोई चीज फ्री नहीं होती। आपको एडवर्टाइजमेंट होगा बाय 1 गेट 1 फ्री 99 में, अट्रैक्टिव, और नीचे की स्टार होगा। जब आप पढ़ेंगे ना उसकी टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस तो बाय 1 गेट 1 भूल जाएंगे। इसलिए आपको ग्रीडी नहीं होना है बस। Thank you one and all the very best for all participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving this thought-provoking lecture and guiding all of us with those sort of certain pertinent issues that are very, very important. Those who looks like very small, like ignoring the messages or clicking on any link instantly, or let's say, for example, not minding about the tickets or the QR code. All these sort of informations are generally seems to be not at all relevant for the people at large, but thinking from the perspective of financial literacy and the safety and security, as you have said, it is very, very important not to disclose these informations and to preserve them on and to discard them. So thank you, sir. Thank you so much once again for being with us and sharing the knowledgeable words with all of us. So now I would request Professor Yukti Sharma ma'am to deliver vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Rohit. Good evening to the chief guest, Professor K.P. Singh, Professor Ajay Kumar, and all my colleagues, participants. I, Professor Yukti Sharma, Academic Secretary at ILLL, would like to give and propose a formal vote of thanks on behalf of all the organizers. It is surely an honor to put forth the vote of thanks and recognize the contributions of those who worked incredibly hard to make this event a huge success. To begin with, we extend our sincere gratitude to our chief guest for the inaugural Professor Balram Paniji, Dean of Colleges, University of Delhi, and also would like to thank him for his constant guidance and his esteemed presence on that day. Our commitment to excellence has always been fueled by his presence and directions. I extend our sincere thanks to our chief guest for today, Professor K.P. Singh, Director, Gandhi Bhavan, for giving a very thoughtful discourse during the valedictory address that relates so well to our daily lives. He has taken such simple examples, which are very important, and from the perspective of financial security and financial safety, which creates this need that why such courses on financial literacy is important for each one of us, even though we may not belong to the field of commerce or we may not belong to the field of economics. So thank you very much, Professor K.P. Singh. A big thanks. I'm sorry, somebody's mic is unmuted.
Dr. Ritu Vasji, आपका mic on है. Dr. Ritu Vas, please unmute yourself.
Thank you so much. A big thanks to also our guest of honor for the inaugural Dr. R.P. Tulsian from Shahid Bhagat Singh Evening College, University of Delhi, Mr. Rajesh Dangiti, Regional Director, SEBI, Northern Regional Office, and Mr. Gaurav Kapoor, Northern Regional Director, National Stock Exchange. Thank you so much for your warm presence. We are indebted for your constant support and guidance throughout the session. Our humble gratitude is to all our resource persons for various sessions. Professor R.P. Tulsian, Shahid Bhagat Singh College, Mr. Surya Bhatia from SEBI, Major Ashish Chadda again from SEBI, Registered Financial Advisor, Professor Amit Kumar Singh, who is our colleague, Dr. Rohit Kumar Srivastav, both from Department of Commerce, Dr. Kumar Bijoy, Associate Director, COL, University of Delhi, Professor Lalit Sharma, Investor Awareness Head, North, Aditya Birla Mutual Fund, Professor Sunana Kanojia, Department of Commerce, University of Delhi, our colleague again, Mr. Neeraj Chauhan, SEBI Registered Financial Advisor, Mr. Munish Sabharwal, North India Head, SBI Mutual Fund. A very big thanks to each one of you, because this event would not have been possible without you. Thank you so much once again for taking the time to take such wonderful sessions despite your busy schedules. Now I would like to make a special mention to Professor Ajay Kumar Singh, because I know it is his leadership that this program has seen the light of the day. He's a senior professor, head and dean of the Department of Commerce. And also special thanks to him for collaborating with ILLL. Also the convener of the program, Professor Amit Kumar Singh, he's professor from Department of Commerce. The co-convener, Dr. Pratibha Maurya, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Dr. Rohit. All of them have been executing this program so well that we could culminate it in time and so meaningfully. So once again, I would like to thank all of you on behalf of the Institute of Lifelong Learning, that is ILLL. Also, I would like to thank our Director, Institute of Lifelong Learning, Professor Sanjay Roy, for taking this initiative and supporting it wholeheartedly, and also our other team members, our section officer, Mr. Tete, PA to the director, Ms. Kaberi. They are very helpful and they are the backbone in coordinating these programs. Mr. Ravi and Mr. Pankaj, they are the technical staff. So this online meeting through which we are connecting is being coordinated by these staff members. Also, Mr. Suryakant Sharma for his valuable support throughout the event. So once again, a big thank you to all the people who are in the background and working so hard for this program. I would also, last but not the least, would like to thank the participants who have joined this program in such good numbers. And I know they are also our colleagues coming from different colleges and departments. And this is a hectic time. It's a very busy time in the university. Still, if they could take out time for these programs, for participating and attending, it is commendable. So once again, we are very thankful to all of you, and have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you. Do we have any announcements related to the certificate? Yes, Dr. Rohit.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for delivering the vote of thanks. Thank you. And thanks to all the participants and all the speakers, guest of honors, and the respected members and the associate members who have been very much helpful and supportive in organizing and conducting this session. 5-day financial literacy program. So there's a small announcement for all the participants that if you have not yet submitted your NOC, then please do submit it as soon as possible, because after checking your attendance, your questions that have been sent through the Google Forms and checking the NOC, your certificates will be released. So please do send your NOCs as soon as possible to Dr. Pratibha Maurya ma'am. Thank you so much once again to all the participants of this program. Thank you.
Namaskar, Professor Ajay. Namaskar, Professor Amit. Thank you.
Namaskar, namaskar.
Namaskar, madam, namaskar. Thank you so much.
Ajay sir, Anmati ne.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor KP
Namaskar.
Singh sir, for delivering
Yes, very
your
nice discourse.
wonderful
Thank you.
lecture as the chief guest of this valedictory session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
You can close.
Thank you, sir.
Over to you.